Infinite Anime, starting with the Rinnegan Part 1. Fuso, Yakushi Temple. A massive barrier had completely sealed off the area, so tight that not even a fly could escape. Outside the impenetrable wall of energy stood Sayaka Gongshin, her expression tense as she watched the unfolding scene. A god of disobedience, here of all places. Sayaka's mind was a storm of emotions, anger, fear, anxiety, all surging at once. She snapped at the subordinates beside her. As the head of the Tokyo branch of the Official History Compilation Committee, Sayaka held nearly absolute authority. Yet even she couldn't suppress the dread building inside her at such an unprecedented crisis. The situation is still unclear, Amakusatoma said, wiping cold sweat from his brow as he addressed her. The appearance of a god of disobedience in Fusan was nothing short of a miracle, and a terrifying one at that. Toma, a mere staffer in the committee, felt his scalp go numb. It's likely that a magician performed a ritual at Yakushi Temple, summoning the god, he speculated. Sayaka's face darkened with fury. Those foolish magicians have no sense of self-preservation, she snapped. Do they really think becoming a god slayer is that simple? To slay a god was no small feat, it was a miracle, an event with odds so slim it bordered on the impossible. Just witnessing a god of disobedience was often enough to break the human mind. That was why, in over 2 centuries, only 6 god slayers had survived. The most recent among them, King of Swords, Salvatore Doni, had ascended just 2 years prior. What do we do now, Chief? Toma asked again, still visibly shaken. Sayaka let out a heavy sigh. For now, we can only wait for the battle within the barrier to end. She didn't know how long the fight would last, but she was certain the ones inside wouldn't hold out for long. If a magician had summoned this god, they were likely already crushed under its divine pressure, reduced to madness or death. As for the god, it would eventually vanish, returning to the myths from which it came. Contact the Kinkyuin family, she ordered. Tell them to bring Aminozako's artifact. Given that this is Yakushi Temple, the deity may be related to Buddhism. If it was a Buddhist god, Sayaka felt confident in handling the situation. But just as she finished speaking, a violent surge of energy exploded from within the barrier. The sheer force of it rocked the entire seal. The enormous barrier, painstakingly erected by monks of the Tiantai sect, began to fracture like glass under pressure. Boom! A pillar of energy shot skyward from Yakushi Temple. It's no good! The barrier can't hold! The monks cried in alarm. As the barrier shattered, 2 immense energies soared into the sky. And for a moment, it seemed as though the world itself had caught a glimpse of 2 deities clashing. Sayaka trembled as she lowered her head, her body shaking uncontrollably. She had seen the god of disobedience, and it was no Buddhist deity. The divine visage resembled Shiva, the destroyer from the Indian pantheon. Why is Shiva appearing here? She muttered, face pale, limbs heavy under the crushing aura of the god. The fear inside her swelled with every passing second. Amakusatoma was similarly overwhelmed. This wasn't just any deity, this was Shiva. Without the intervention of a god slayer, not even a divine artifact like the Tatsuka no Tsurugi could hope to match him. Are we certain a magician summoned the god of disobedience? Sayaka asked, gritting her teeth as her eyes turned to another figure, one currently engaged in battle with Shiva. The figure did not resemble a god, but its presence was no less terrifying. Bathed in a sky-blue light, the figure's sapphire-like eyes reflected the heavens themselves, gleaming with celestial brilliance. Sayaka immediately sensed it. This was not the aura of a god of disobedience. It was something else, something even more terrifying. And she was right. It was the power of the Tensigen, far surpassing the might of any rogue god. This was Luo Xia's trump card, the power he had brought with him into the world of godslayers, granted by the life game system. Yakushi Temple sign-in task completed. Shiva, the god of disobedience, has been summoned. Your novice pack, Tensigen, has been unlocked. Tensigen-related skills activated. The system's voice echoed in Luo Xia's mind as he fought. The skills had become second nature during the battle. Empowered by the Tensigen, Luo Xia had turned the tables. Within half an hour, Shiva, once a towering threat, was forced into a humiliating retreat. The Tensigan, with power enough to slice through the moon, made short work of the god's strength. And this was just the beginning. Boom! There was a muffled sound in the air. Luo Xia, who had mastered Tensigan ability, was doing his best to confront Shiva. Damn it, are you a human or a god? Shiva roared angrily, feeling the difficulty of the human beings in front of him. Me? Human, of course. So God, are you ready to be my power? Luo Xiao's words, Shiva thoroughly angered. Humans, if you want to take the power of this god, then see if you have that ability? Shiva snorted angrily, and Shiva's destruction god, his third eye, was aimed in Luo Xiao's direction. Destroy it, in the name of Dhamma. The divine eyes of destruction radiated terrifying divine light. Truth-seeking ball. The truth-seeking ball turned, blocking Shiva's divine light of destruction, and then Luo Xia aimed in Shiva's direction. The silver wheel is reborn! The tornado storm formed by the truth-seeking ball hit Shiva in just a split second. If you're just this level, I'm so disappointed, human! Shiva sneered, and the storm of equal power met the reincarnation explosion of the silver wheel. The collision of the two forces caused the energy to spread instantly, causing a shock to the atmosphere. Shiva was about to sneer when Luo Xiao's second wave of attacks arrived at this moment. God, be my strength and meet your death. The golden wheel is reborn. Looking for a quick solution, he immediately unleashed what could be called the strongest strike of his Tensigan skill, locking on the gods in the distance. The truth-seeking ball behind him was gathered in his hand, and then turned into a golden lightsaber. The lightsaber cut through the sky at this moment, and suddenly slashed towards the god in front of him. The golden lightsaber cut through the void, making the atmosphere tremble at this moment. The lightsaber pierced the sky. That's it! Just trying to block Luo Xiao's attack, Shiva's expression changed. Luo Xiao's poised attack made Shiva feel unstoppable, and the second wave of attacks was much more powerful than the original. This power is enough to destroy an asteroid. In Yakushi Temple, Luo Xia borrowed the power of Buddha's faith and vows and turned it into a golden wheel that was enough to destroy Shiva. It's just that the golden wheel's reincarnation attack has already landed on his body, and the dazzling golden lightsaber directly pierced through Shiva's body, causing a turbulent air current in the air, spreading in all directions. Shiva was completely unstoppable, and his body disintegrated little by little at this moment. At the same time, the realm of life and immortality. Hey, another child, did he kill the god himself? Pandora hasn't recovered yet, but suddenly feels the operation of the ring of divine tool usurping. Wait, what's going on? Before Pandora started the ceremony, the ring of usurpation started the ceremony on its own, and the authority and magic power belonging to the gods were transferred to Luo Xia, who had just succeeded in killing the god. Ding! Congratulations on successfully beheading the god of disobedience, completing the construction of power, and obtaining the power of Shiva Karma Dance. The magic power of the gods was transferred to Luo Xiao's body at this moment. The powerful mantra almost filled his body at this moment, making Luo Xia feel extremely happy. And his cheat was successfully opened and credited at this time. The transfer of the magical power of the gods allowed Luo Xia to successfully obtain a huge source of power. Moreover, the huge magical power that exists in the body of the god of disobedience is equivalent to a perpetual motion machine for Luo Xia, which can allow him to maintain Tensigan chakra mode for a long time. Because you successfully defeated the god of disobedience, the second gift package will be open for you, Dimensional Forum. Luo Xia was overwhelmed by the second forum. Compared with the first package, the second package is the most important for Luo Xia. He looked at the relevant information and rules of the next Dimensional Forum a little, and he already had his own ideas on how to use the Dimensional Forum. As for the detailed application in the future, Luo Xia still needs to ponder carefully. After receiving the 2 gift packs she had obtained, Luo Xia opened her eyes in surprise and looked at the panicked crowd on the ground. Now, he has to solve the troubles facing the god of rebellion. Luo Xia landed on the ground, as if it fell into the flat ground like a breeze, and his eyes fell on the beauty in men's clothing in front of him. It looks like it should be Fusang here. Luo Xia murmured softly, and quickly became aware of the place she was in. In the world of gods' lairs, it was the only country that did not have the appearance of a god of disobedience. Gollum! Sayaka Gongxin swallowed, feeling a little nervous. She couldn't help lowering her head, feeling the heavy pressure approaching. Amakusatoma and the surrounding monks turned pale at this time. Because they may be facing a demon king who can kill the god-killing demon king in one fell swoop. What is a demon king? That is a terrifying existence that kills gods with the body of a mortal. Head up. Luo Xia looked at Saya Gongxin, who was kneeling, and said commandingly, "If I guess correctly, you should be members of the Official History Compilation Committee." Reporting to the king, we are indeed members of the Official History Compilation Committee. The little girl, Sei Gongxin, is the head of the Official History Committee's Tokyo branch. Sei Gongxin said seriously. Her tone didn't seem to be nervous at all, but the sweat on her face betrayed her. Luo Xia's direct gaze put a lot of pressure on Sei Gongxin. More importantly, Luo Xia's language is actually Xia Guoyu. Could it be that Luo Xia is from Xia? Through the language, Saya Gongxin can analyze a lot of information. I don't know if it comes from the Holy Church of the Five Prisons. Don't think about it. I was born in Xia, but it has nothing to do with the holy sect of the Five Prisons. The only relationship is that I and the leader of the Five Prisons sect are our own family. The only thing that is similar is that Luo Xia has the same surname as Luo. My name is Luo Xia. From today onwards, the country of Fusang will be under my command. You will regard me as your king, as my subjects, and be loyal to me. Luo Xia's words made everyone dare not breathe at this moment. Sei Gongxin's face was bitter. How could she have the courage to refuse? Because the man in front of her was the one who really killed the god who couldn't obey. Moreover, Shiva, one of the three gods, was killed. Even if the husband you came forward, facing the seventh demon king who was incapable of killing the god in front of him, he could only surrender tremblingly. That's right, since the sixth devil Salvatore Toni became a god slayer, the seventh devil in the world, Luo Xia, was born in the land of Fusang. However, this demon king was not born in the holy sect of the Five Prisons. The origin and identity are also a mystery. On the day Luo Xia succeeded in killing the gods, information about Luo Xia quickly spread all over the world along with the intelligence sharing of the Official History Compilation Committee. Europe, Britain. The Green Niji Sage Council also received news about the birth of the seventh demon king at this time. The seventh king was born in Fusang, and it seems that he was born in the Xia kingdom? Can you know more about this demon king? It's just that the information is correct. How could Shiva, one of the three gods, be summoned? It is impossible for an omniscient and almighty god to appear on the ground. Shiva, the all-knowing and all-powerful deity. The three gods of Tianzhu, the god of cross religion, the Jade Emperor of Eastern mythology, Zeus of Greek mythology. How could the almighty god be summoned to appear? The old pedant and the magician were arguing, showing disbelief at the news they got. But the seventh king did defeat Shiva. The surrounding words suddenly became silent at this moment. If it's really Shiva, what kind of authority is that demon lord most likely to gain? The eyes of the others could not help but fall on Princess Alice beside her. Princess Alice, who has served as the speaker of the Green Niji Sage Council since the age of 16, is a witch princess famous in the magic world, and is also the daughter of the Duke of Goding. The girl who has the white maiden princess in front of her has the ability to see through the authority of the God Slayer. However, when facing our seventh king, Princess Alice had to shake her head. No, my abilities can't be used on that king. The girl's brows furrowed, a little uneasy. However, Princess Alice could see the changes that the seventh demon king would bring to the whole world. That king will be the Kun Emperor of the world. Emperor of the world, how is this possible? Princess Alice shook her head, then dismissed the thoughts in her mind, thinking that she must be crazy. I hope that king will not be a nonsense character like other kings. Princess Alice pondered for a while, and muttered with some worry. Xia State, Lushan Mountain. This is the base of the 5 prisons, and on the top of Mount Lu, there is a small nunnery. On this, there is a key figure for the Holy Church of the 5 prisons, and that is the leader of Luo Hao. The holy sect of the 5 prisons is truly in control. From the reign of Qianlong, he became the demon king of slaying gods, and the great leader who has controlled the holy sect of the 5 prisons for more than 100 years. Usually, Luo Hao is closed to the Lushan nunnery and does not manage anything in the outside world. However, this does not mean that she is ignorant of external affairs, because she is also the ruler of the 5 prisons' sacred sect. The holy sect of the 5 prisons can continue to this day, and it can still rely on Luo Hao's powerful force as a god slayer. And god slayers are people who stand at the top of the world. What's the matter, so flustered? As my apprentice, how can I act like a little girl? Luo Hao's voice came from the nunnery, and she hummed softly, clearly revealing her dissatisfaction with her stupid apprentice. Lu Yinghua, a contemporary descendant of the Lu family of the martial arts family, was also Luo Hao's chosen disciple. However, this disciple's performance did not satisfy Luo Hao very much. Master Qi, the disciple has something important to report, so he ran to Lushan nunnery. In the kingdom of the extreme east, it is rumored that a 7th king has appeared, and he is also a member of our Xia kingdom. It is said that he is the master's home. Lu Yinghua spoke, and the beauty leader of the nunnery immediately became interested. People from the Xia kingdom become the 7th king in Fusang? That's interesting. Luo Hao made a brisk voice, showing a little more interest in the 7th demon king. Inger let you run for your teacher and go to Fusang to invite the king to have a small gathering on Mount Lu. Luo Hao immediately ordered that our beauty leader immediately handed over a problem to his apprentice. Eh? Lu Yinghua's expression was bitter, but he didn't dare to obey. Under the training of Luo Hao since he was a child, Lu Yinghua is naturally obedient to Luo Hao for fear that some place will offend our beauty leader, and then be beaten repeatedly. When Lu Yinghua retreated, Luo Hao and Lushan nunnery came out. It's really interesting to be with my family, the 7th king today? Now, Luo Hao is looking forward to meeting Luo's Xia. Except for the Xia country, it is far away in the beautiful country in the Atlantic Ocean. The 6th king of the world today, Salvatore Toni, known as the King of Swords, received accurate news of the birth of the 7th king. My new compatriot? It's too powerful to be able to kill such a god. Shiva, the god of disobedience, is not an ordinary god. It is incredible that such a god can appear in the world, but I never thought that it would actually appear. Moreover, they will also be defeated and killed, usurping the relevant powers. Andre, I've decided to go to Fuso now. Salvatore Toni, who can't wait, has aroused an endless desire to challenge in his heart. My king, don't you plan to stay in the beautiful country? Andre suddenly said nervously. As the deacon of Wang Ji and Tony's friend, he sometimes seemed helpless about the character of a child like Tony. The god of disobedience has not appeared, and I have not met a challenger who can satisfy me. Why don't I go to Fusang and meet the 7th king, my compatriot? The corners of Tony's mouth rose, and there was a hint of anticipation in his eyes. I understand, I will arrange a plane for you as soon as possible. Andre said he knew what Tony decided, and he couldn't dissuade him no matter what. Then, we can only follow Tony's wishes. I hope that Demon King can make Tony suffer more. Andre couldn't help but think that Tony, who became king, was too reckless. To be precise, he has never suffered a defeat. Perhaps, after experiencing a real failure, Tony's heart will be calmer. Meanwhile, Luo Xia's influence continues. Not knowing how much influence he has had on the outside world, Luo Xia is resting in the hotel where he is staying, and is familiar with the power he has obtained and the second gift package he has obtained. The power of 10 Sigan should be included in the novice gift package that the system gave me, as well as the complete power of the gods. Luo Xia murmured, and was naturally quite satisfied with the achievement of this time travel. Needless to say, 10 Sigan's ability has completely stolen the authority of the gods. Luo Xia obtained Shiva's ability. Shiva Karma Dance. This ability has a huge effect on Luo Xia, and it can greatly improve Luo Xia's ability. Shiva is an important god in Tianzhu mythology, the god of destruction among the three gods. Its prototype Rudra belongs to the god of storms and has authority related to thunder and lightning. In the legend of the three gods, as long as Shiva dances, the world will usher in a disaster of destruction. Luo Xia's ability, Shiva Karma Dance, comes from this, triggering a storm that destroys the world, summoning endless karmic fire, and burning everything in the world. It can also strengthen its own state. When launching the Shiva Karma Dance, Luo Xia's overall stats will increase exponentially at this time. However, the bigger gain is the Dimensional Forum. The corresponding rules about the Dimensional Forum were quickly presented in Luo Xia's mind. Complete the answers of the forum members to get the corresponding reward points. Forum owners can exchange equivalents with forum members through answers. These are the basic forum rules, and as a forum holder, Luo Xia's abilities won't have any effect in any world. Moreover, as the level of the Dimensional Forum increases, the authority of the Dimensional Forum will also be increased accordingly. The Dimension Forum will regularly accept Q&A invitations from different worlds. As a forum holder, if you change the established plot that affects different worlds, you will receive corresponding forum rewards. As for how to change, it naturally depends on how the forum owner judges. Accepting the Q&A invitation will form a special Q&A space. Note: you will get the camouflage ability of the Dimension Forum. You can freely set your own identity. Do you want to continue? The prompt sound appeared in Luo Xia's mind. Can't wait. Luo Xia soon started his own experiment. There was a strange brilliance in his eyes. The question and answer space has been shaped, and it has begun to shape success, and has received a question and answer invitation for you. Shape success for you, Destiny Questioner. The questioner pays the equivalent to get the future provided by the questioner. The prompt sounded, and a misty space appeared in Luo Xia's field of vision. At this moment, a high platform rose up on the ground, and on the high platform, a large chair appeared not far from Luo Xia. Luo Xia walked up one step at a time, and then slowly sat on the large chair above the high platform. The mist surrounds Luo Xia, and a supreme, divine aura emerges from Luo Xia's body. Sitting on that chair, Luo Xia's eyes showed a sapphire blue light, as if a pair of eyes could see through everything in the world. The fate of the characters in the endless dimension seems to be in the hands of Luo Xia. The world of Hokage, where the land of fire and the land of water meet. Somewhere in the cave, Uchiha Madara has grown old, and the heroic demeanor of the ninja world in the past has to surrender in the face of the power of the years. He is old and no longer the Uchiha Madara he used to be. With his gray hair now, he has lost the brilliance of his youth, and his current body can only be limited to this cave. If it weren't for him, he would still be able to rely on the power of Black Setsu and White Setsu, coupled with the ability of Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan to control the Foggy Village, and regularly let Mizukage of Foggy Village report external affairs. Uchiha Madara would have no idea what happened in the ninja world today. No matter how high-spirited he used to be, Uchiha Madara seemed helpless in the face of the natural aging faced by human beings. Even though he possesses superhuman strength, Uchiha Madara is not an immortal god. Damn it, I'm running out of time. How can I accomplish my ideals if it goes on like this? He clenched his fists, his face showing unwillingness. The third ninja war has begun. I must find a suitable successor from the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Madara's eyes flickered, and a clear plan emerged from his mind. Just as he was about to call Black Setsu and think about how to execute his plan, a strange reminder sounded in his mind. You have joined the Dimension Forum. Here is the intersection of endless destiny, where you can know the future of your own in distant time. Propose a transaction, the Master of Fate will give you future information, and you can witness the wider otherworld through the Dimensional Forum. The indifferent Uchiha Madara immediately became suspicious. Illusion? No, this is not an illusion. The surrounding scenery, in Uchiha Madara's eyes, immediately changed. An alien space wrapped in mist appeared in front of Uchiha Madara's eyes. and his body at this moment seems to have returned to its youthful state, and the original aging body has returned to the peak of his youth. Illusion? He stood up and felt the vitality of the whole body, showing a surprised color. He was so old that the old forgot the vitality that the body once had when it was young. Uchiha Madara's mood can be described as joyful that her former youthful state has been restored again. Just this made Uchiha Madara a little more confused about the people sitting on the high platform and the space shrouded in mist. Do you want to know your future? Luo Xia just replied indifferently, and continued to maintain a high and cold state. He knew that Uchiha Madara was in this space, and it was only a temporary restoration of youthful vitality. The power of the dimensional forum affected Uchiha Madara. For him, Luo Xia doesn't think Uchiha Madara can bring him any threat. Future? Uchiha Madara's eyes suddenly became suspicious. However, his face turned calm and he decided to test Luo Xia first. Here, can I know my future? In his heart, he still had doubts about Luo Xia. If you don't believe me, just witness it with your own eyes. Luo Xia chuckled, and immediately used the ability brought by the question and answer space, and the fragmented Hokage memory was presented in front of Uchiha Madara's eyes. And what Uchiha Madara saw happened to be Ten Tails Jinchuriki himself, master of Sage of Six Paths level power. Is my plan a success? Infinite Tsukuyami, it's already coming true. Feeling stronger than ever, Uchiha Madara was pleasantly surprised. It was just his surprise that he soon fell into the abyss in hell, and suddenly a big hole was opened in his chest, and he was killed. Then, Uchiha Madara returned to the misty space. How? Luo Xia pursed her lips and looked at Uchiha Madara, who was sweating coldly, showing an old playful look. How can I believe that what you say is true or false? He took a deep breath and asked Luo Xia in front of him. Believe it or not, it's up to you. If you want to know more, then take out more equivalent things in exchange. Luo Xia's words made Uchiha Madara fall into contemplation immediately. Rule presentation. To trade future information, the corresponding ability of the current questioner needs to be paid. The ability will generate a skill card in exchange. The exchange will not affect the questioner's own ability, but will be analyzed and copied through the questioner's existing ability. Your own skill card has been generated for you. The golden card suddenly appeared in the air. Uchiha Madara took the card, and unexpectedly found that the card contained all the abilities Uchiha Madara himself possessed. Can the skill card be able to completely duplicate my own abilities? Uchiha Madara looked at his own skill card. The skill card can be copied from Uchiha Madara, and there is no loss of Uchiha Madara's own power. And the skill card he generated has a total of 4 skill cards. Chakra Refinement, Rinnegan, Hashirama Cell, S-Class Fire Style Ninjutsu. Because of that, Uchiha Madara made the old trade choice. Then let me see my future. Rinnegan Skill Card, S-Level Fire Style and Hashirama Cells, Chakra Refining Method, 4 skill cards were traded by Uchiha Madara. If this question and answer space can really answer his doubts, there is nothing wrong with exchanging his own skill cards. You complete the skill card exchange and get 3,000 Q&A points. With the Q&A points, you can exchange the required items through the Q&A forum. The prompt sounded in Uchiha Madara's mind. Due to Uchiha Madara's successful transaction, the Dimension Forum also opened a new function at the same time. Successful exchange of skill cards, you have checked the questioner's skill card. Do you want to start paying for the question and answer? The new function Dimensional Mall has been unlocked for you and forum members. Since you are the owner of the forum, the Dimensional Mall has the right to purchase. The system's voice sounded from Luo Xia's mind. He also did not expect that Uchiha Madara would be so willing. And Uchiha Madara's transaction has also opened up a new function for the Dimensional Forum, which is the Dimensional Mall. Yes, it's so good. Uchiha Madara is so straightforward, so Luo Xia will not be a black-hearted businessman. Since it is a spoiler, let's spoil it to the end. At this moment, Luo Xia did not hesitate to show the entire future of the Hokage world, including Uchiha Madara's own future, in front of Uchiha Madara's eyes. Uchiha Madara, who was originally calm, suddenly became gloomy at this moment. Then, it became painful. My infinite Tsukuyami plan is actually unforgivable. Uchiha Madara's anger at the moment can be imagined. That infinite Tsukuyami that he has worked so hard to plan for half his life is just a deception by some guy. He deceived Uchiha Madara for half his life and lured Uchiha Madara into the abyss. Black Zetsu, damn you! Uchiha Madara gritted his teeth. He thought that Black Zetsu came from his own creation and belonged to his own shadow. Unexpectedly, Black Zetsu is actually the third son of the so-called goddess of, a contemporary of Sage of Six Paths. He was deceived by that guy until he became Black Zetsu's tool for resurrecting his mother. Relying on the future revealed by Luo Xia, Uchiha Madara can now know everything. It was because he knew everything that Uchiha Madara seemed quite painful. Because he felt that for half his life, he was living like a joke. Infinite Tsukuyami is Uchiha Madara's action plan to realize his vision. To achieve this action plan, Uchiha Madara has paid too much. Telling him this plan now is just what a guy has in order to revive his old mother who has been sealed for thousands of years. His ideal peaceful world is completely impossible to achieve. No doubt he was dying of anger. For Black Zetsu, there is more anger inside. It was only because of anger that Uchiha Madara felt helpless. He had so much to do now that he needed the power of Black Zetsu. Whether it is the realization of the plan, or the resurrection of himself in the future, the power of Black Zetsu is needed. By the way, this question and answer space, and this so-called dimensional forum. The distressed Uchiha Madara immediately placed her hope on Luo Xia. Unknown existence, is the future I see real? Can your power restore my youthful state? Uchiha Madara lowered his head, maintaining a considerable degree of respect for the unknown existence of the master with mysterious and powerful power. Seeing Uchiha Madara's appearance, Luo Xia couldn't help but feel a little funny. However, he still maintained a high level of force and did not reply directly to Uchiha Madara. With forum points, you can exchange anything you want. Whether it is immortality, or gaining power from the other world, the dimensional mall can be achieved for Uchiha Madara. The relevant information is presented in front of Uchiha Madara. Before Uchiha Madara came back to his senses, Uchiha Madara returned directly to the world of Hokage from the question and answer space. Dream? He murmured softly, then shook his head. No, this is not a dream, what I see is real. Looking at the list of dimensional mall that appeared in his field of vision, Uchiha Madara's eyes became hot. So many goodies that Uchiha Madara wants to buy it all at once. However, looking at his only 3,000 points, Uchiha Madara fell into a painful choice. For the first time, Uchiha Madara felt poor. At the same time, the Godslayer world. At the end of the Q&A, Luo Xia returned to reality. At this moment, he also received a new reward. You successfully opened the Dimensional Mall, completed a forum member answering task, and received 30,000 points as a reward. Forum points can be exchanged for any desired items through the Dimension Mall. Luo Xia took a look and saw that 30,000 points can be exchanged for a lot of things: Marine 6 styles, Observation Hockey, Armament Hockey, Shinigami Zanpakuto, Kamen Rider Belt, etc. However, the 30,000 points obtained are just the basics. More high-end, such as the power of the magic god of the Forbidden, the simulated star creation map of the small garden, the infinite gems, the source of fire, the power of destruction, etc., all require hundreds of millions of points. In addition, it also includes special weapons from other worlds, the noble phantasms of the Moon World, and the artifacts of the Demon High School, all within these ranges. As long as Luo Xia has enough points, he can exchange anything he wants through the Dimension Mall. And strengthen Luo Xia's existing power through the Dimension Mall. Luo Xia glanced at it. He didn't plan to use his only points immediately, but set his eyes on the 4 skill cards he had obtained. The chakra extraction method is not very useful for Luo Xia. With the magical power of the gods, the power of chakra is insignificant to Luo Xia. Rinnegan, Hashirama Cell and S-Class Fire Style are what Luo Xia needs most. Let me try Rinnegan first. Holding the skill card, the moment he decided to try to gain Rinnegan's power, the skill card instantly shattered, and the golden glow turned into a spot of light, blending into Luo Xia's eyes. The next moment, a vertical line appeared on his forehead. The vertical stripes split in the blink of an eye, and a red Rinnegan appeared on Luo Xia's forehead. The blood-red Rinnegan presents an eerie beauty. Not only does the forehead show a red Rinnegan, Luo Xia's eyes also show a Rinnegan attitude. With the power of Tensigan, Luo Xia now has more power from Rinnegan. If Tensigan is the eye of destruction, destroying everything, then Rinnegan is the eye of creation, the master's power of life and death. Luo Xia has completely mastered the pupil skills that Rinnegan should have. At the same time, Luo Xia also obtained a unique Rinnegan pupil technique, Eternal Tribulation Reincarnation. The power of Rinnegan, combined with the magical power of the gods in Luo Xia's body, seemed to produce a wonderful change that Luo Xia didn't even understand. The power of this pupil technique is that it can reverse time and change the future in an instant. Faced with death, one can ignore any restrictions to erase the future of death, return oneself to the past before dying, and be able to return to any time period from birth to death. However, the premise of this pupil technique is that Luo Xia has met the condition of death, otherwise the function of this pupil technique is to erase other people's attacks. Secondly, the power of Susanoo brought by Rinnegan's ability seems to have become a special kind of pupil technique, that is, Daikokutin. Activate the state of the black sky. Luo Xia can manifest the mighty black sky, use the big black sky to launch a storm that destroys everything, create a wind gun that runs through everything, has molecular level wind manipulation, and has terrifying power and speed. Moreover, Luo Xia activates the black sky state. Luo Xia also has the relevant weapons that Shiva can possess. Shoot the Ajagava bow, the god of love, and the trident Banaka, the symbol of lightning. Luo Xia's ability can be said to be cheating. It is only a part of the ability that needs to be activated, and the magic power that needs to be consumed can be called an astronomical level. The magic power of the gods cannot be used as a perpetual motion machine. Luo Xia is quite clear about this. If Luo Xia wants to improve to a stronger state, the 5 laws of the moon world, the star cup of the game life, or the simulated star creation map of the small garden world can be provided to Luo Xia to choose. However, these seem too far away for the current Luo Xia. The current strength is only enough for the current Luo Xia. God Killer is strong, but not enough for the future Luo Xia. I have to think about how to plan to use the power of the dimensional forum. Luo Xia's eyes were a little more expectant. With the power of the dimensional forum, Luo Xia doesn't have to worry about improving her own strength. Moreover, Luo Xia is the owner of the dimensional forum, and has more authority than forum members. All he has to do is continue to hide his true identity, and pretend to be an omnipotent existence to fool around. Speaking of which, the power of Rinnegan and Tensigan is quite suitable for me, ha ha ha. Luo Xia pursed her lips and couldn't help thinking. His master's is Shiva's authority, and the power of the 2 pupil techniques is a huge improvement for Luo Xia. Then, how to continue to strengthen and improve his own strength is the key for Luo Xia. After all, the improvement of ability is also proportional to energy consumption. Looking for a chance, you can go to the world of Hokage. Just to go to the Hokage world, Luo Xia needs to be invited by Uchiha Madara, or the Dimension Forum can open the forum task. The current Luo Xia has not been able to take the initiative to cross, because the level of the Dimension Forum is not enough. If you can get the power of Ten Tails Chakra, or get the tree itself. Relying on Tensigan's ability, Luo Xia can find a primitive planet and plant a divine tree to turn a planet into its own energy source. The chakra fruit of the divine tree itself is a special fruit formed by the power of the planet. Otsutsuki Kage ate the chakra fruit before it was fully ripe. So how terrifying is the energy of a fully ripe chakra fruit? Meanwhile, the official history committee is here. In the land of Fuso, the 7th Demon King was born, which undoubtedly put enormous pressure on the official history committee. Among them, the most stressful is Saya Gongshin. Everyone, haven't you made a decision yet? Take an oath of allegiance like that demon king, Segongshin said, and the head of the Jufashong family immediately said, Allegiance to the demon king, this is what the official history committee has been doing for thousands of years. Things that have never been done. What's more, this land has the protection of the royal husband, and we are afraid that the seventh devil will fail. His words made Segongshin angry. Could it be that you don't understand the so-called terror of the demon king? How could a mortal magician have the authority to challenge the demon king, not to mention that the god that the demon king killed was Shiva, the god of destruction of Brahmanism? If your Jafasa family wants to face it head-on, then don't pull the entire official history committee into the water. Segongshin's words made the face of the head of the Jufashong family turn blue and white. Husband, has Kinkiyuan got an accurate reply? The head of the Lianqing family turned his attention to the Kinkiyuan family. The Kinkiyuan family is the descendant of Yu's husband, and has a blood relationship with Yu's husband who is also Susanoo. Through the Kinkiyuan family, Susanoo has been indirectly controlling Fuso. Husband, you said, let's be patient with that demon king, otherwise if he has an accident, he won't help me wait. The head of the Kinkiyuan family sighed, the expression on his face was a little complicated, and his tone became a little unsteady when facing the crowd. He's a god of disobedience, he's just a mere god-killer demon king, is your husband scared? Yeah, then what's the point of me waiting to obey the one? This Fusang is my waiting Fusang, not his. The senior officials of the official history committee present were furious at Susanoo. No matter how angry they are, these high-level leaders cannot have any courage to challenge the authority of the god of disobedience. What's more, there is now another god-killing demon king. Why don't we pretend to obey? God-killing demon kings are nothing more than simple-minded guys. For us, it's also an opportunity to get rid of the god of disobedience. Compared with the demon king who killed the gods, the senior officials of the official history committee hated the god of disobedience even more. If I can win over that demon king and let him stand by me and wait until... For thousands of years, the families have endured enough of Susanoo's finger-pointing. What do we use to win over that demon king? The head of the Lianqing family quickly raised the key issue. Facing the God-Slayer, they face only surrender or destruction, otherwise there is no other way. In itself, the official history committee has no bargaining power to win over that demon king. Beauty plan? The head of the Kinkiyuan family opened his mouth and said, If the devil likes women's sex, I can use this aspect to start. Woman, are you joking? The head of the Kinkiyuan family. The head of the Jufashong family snorted lightly, and immediately showed an unpleasant color. If the so-called demon king can be drawn in so easily, wouldn't it be as ridiculous as a joke? Moreover, that king is not a good guy to get along with. In case, it is a brutal kun like the Marquis of Vauban or the leader of Luohao, so what should they do? Chief Segongshin, why don't you lead me to test that demon king? The eyes of the rest of the high-level executives fell on Segongshin, and the head of the Qingqiu courtyard opened his mouth, making Segongshin not knowing what to say for a while. Yes, Chief Sayagongshin, if you take off your men's clothes and put on a kimono, you are also a beautiful woman. For the sake of Fusang, I have to trouble the director of Segongshin to sacrifice. Segongshin never expected that she would be involved in how to deal with that demon king. Moreover, you have to become the demon king of the beauty plot? These guys are using themselves as cannon fodder. Segongshin gritted her teeth, but did not dare to say anything more, because they were the real high-level officials of the official history committee. I understand, so please, everyone, how should I answer the seventh devil? She took a deep breath, adjusted her breathing, and asked the higher-ups present. As long as it is what the king wants, I will satisfy the king. Satisfying that demon king's vanity, that demon king should have no trouble. Next, it would be the most cost-effective for the official history committee if a conflict between the god-killing demon king and the royal husband could be brought about. At best, the two can lose both. It's just that the senior officials of the official history committee thought very well, but they didn't understand the meaning of the God-Slayer. The demon king is the tyrant, the king of Kun, who transcends worldly principles and is above all life. At the same time, Fusang Yushi. This is the realm of life and immortality that the living cannot touch, and it is also the place where Susanoo lives in seclusion. Usually, Susanoo lives in seclusion in the secluded world, and only in rare cases will he come out of the secluded world and come to the mortal world. Master Yu, what are your plans for the god-killing demon king? The black-clothed mage asked. He knew that Susanoo had rejected the request of the Kinkyuan family, and was unwilling to go out of the world to face the god-killing demon king. However, if the god-killing demon king had an accident, it would be troublesome for Fusang. Moreover, the black-clothed mage is also very worried that the god-killing demon king will miss the seal of the monkey god Kun. What's more, if there is a problem with the seal of the monkey god Kun, it will affect the fate of the world. Born in the Xia kingdom, but also from the head of Luo Hao's family, people have to wonder what relationship Luo Xia has with the head of Luo Hao. The god slayer who can kill Shiva, the god of destruction, is not something I can deal with. Susanoo sighed, and couldn't help but fall into worry. As long as he doesn't move the monkey god Kun's seal, the devil in the land of Fusang can do whatever he wants. Now, he is not sure that he will win the king. If he touches the seal of the monkey god Kun and tries to liberate the power of the monkey god Kun, that can only be, take one step at a time. Susanoo's face seemed to become a little gloomy. If possible, he would still be reluctant to have any conflict with the god slayer. It's just that he couldn't understand why there were gods from foreign countries who refused to obey on the land under his jurisdiction. If it was a myth of his own country, Susanoo would be able to contain the appearance of the god slayer with certainty. However, the birth of a god slayer on this land was a challenge in itself to Susanoo's authority. Besides, the god Luo Xia killed was not an ordinary god. Susanoo had a lot of pressure on Luo Xia. The turmoil in this land did not affect Luo Xia. To be precise, the storm itself was brought about by Luo Xia. Luo Xia, who was at the center of the storm, could be said to have obtained the supreme real authority in this land. However, Luo Xia is about to usher in a new challenger. Eastern Europe, Marquis Estate. This information is very interesting. Marquis Vauban smiled, and there was a glimmer of light in his eyes. My new compatriot beheaded Shiva, the god of destruction of Brahmanism, and ruled Fusang in one fell swoop. He is indeed my compatriot. He stood up and became interested in the god slayer he had never met. Exactly, after collecting the new artifacts, I have to prepare again for the ceremony of summoning the god of disobedience. The god of disobedience summoning ceremony that was screwed up by the Sword King Tony 2 years ago, the Marquis of Vauban intends to start the summoning of the god of disobedience again. In addition to the artifacts related to the gods, the Marquis of Vauban also needs a witch who presides over the ceremony. It is a pity that none of the witches of Europa survived in the ceremony held by the Marquis of Vauban 2 years ago. The ceremony damaged a lot of witches and summoned the heroic god of steel in Norse mythology. However, he was preempted by Tony and achieved the authority of his blessing of steel. Therefore, the unwilling Marquis of Vauban intends to reproduce the ritual of the god of disobedience. Klanicha, you gave a nice gift. The Marquis of Vauban's gaze was on the old man of the Klanicha family who was half kneeling at the bottom of the steps. The Klanicha family, the Bronze Black Cross, is actually the real leader. In Italy and even in Western Europe, the Bronze Black Cross is a magical association comparable to the Bronze Black Cross. Klanicha III was the previous commander-in-chief of the Bronze Black Cross. But now, he is not in charge of any affairs, but offloads the responsibilities to Diana, his apprentice. And Diana, who is now his apprentice and the commander of the Bronze Black Cross, is also instructing his granddaughter, Liliana Klanicha. That's the job of the Klanichas. Klanicha's words made the Marquis of Vauban nodded with satisfaction. Then, don't forget to send the prepared gift. Marquis Vauban smiled and said to Klanicha, Don't worry, I won't kill your poor granddaughter this time. I'm fully prepared for the new summoning ceremony. The indifferent words of the Marquis of Vauban made Klanicha feel like an ice cellar. This time, when he came to Marquis Vauban's manor and castle, Clanacha originally asked Marquis Vauban to look at his old face and let the Clanacha family go. He is just such a granddaughter, and is the future heir of the Bronze-Black Cross. If anything happens, then the Bronze-Black Cross will collapse completely. In the summoning ceremony 2 years ago, the Marquis of Vauban forced the witches of Europa, resulting in the direct death of hundreds of witches. The magic associations in Europa also suffered heavy losses as a result, forming the European Seven Sisters Alliance and the establishment of the Southern European Magic Association Alliance. If it wasn't for the Kranich's family who had followed the Marquis of Vauban since the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the growth of the Bronze-Black Cross relied on the prestige of the Marquis of Vauban in the early days. Coupled with the brutality and terror of the Marquis of Vauban, Kranica would not have to go to Eastern Europe to seek the Marquis of Vauban. But now, I see. Kranica bowed his head, without any courage to resist the Marquis of Vauban. Because he knew what kind of terrifying authority the god-killing demon king had. And in this Europa, the Marquis of Vauban is the most feared terrifying existence. He is the earliest god-slayer, the most powerful demon king in 200 years. The rain is about to come, and the land of Fusang is expected to usher in a huge storm. Among them, Luo Xia did not know that at this moment he had left the Tokyo hotel arranged by the official history committee. Amakusa Dongma, who was with Luo Xia, couldn't help showing a nervous look, and she had no idea why Luo Xia suddenly left the Tokyo hotel. Well, Your Majesty the Demon King, do you think we were not well received at that hotel? Dongma Amakasa asked cautiously, for fear that Luo Xia might be offended in his words. We can adjust to your preferred hotel accommodation for you, and the service staff will be further improved. Before Gakkai Dongma finished speaking, Luo Xia interrupted Gakkai Dongma directly. No need. He shook his head and chuckled at Dongma Amakasu. It's up to you to decide where I plan to live. Don't dare. Amakusa Toma said quickly, wiping the cold sweat off his face. Then you are. Before Amazuki Toma could finish speaking, he suddenly seemed to realize something and raised his head to look at the torii in front of him. Isn't this Nanao Shrine? Luo Xia is here for what? At this moment, he suddenly thought of something terrible. Looks like it's here. A smile appeared on Luo Xia's face. The key to the liberation of the monkey god Kuin, the priestess, is in this Nanxiong Shrine, and she is also one of the original heroines of the God-Slayer world, Yuri Wanliga. There is no interest to her, but her sister is able to assist Luo Xia in unlocking the seal of the monkey god Kun. Only when the seal of the monkey god Kun is lifted will the last king have a chance to appear. Without hesitation, Luo Xia stepped into the Seven Heroes Shrine. At the same time, in the shrine, in the heart of Banliga Yuri, there was suddenly a little more uneasiness. As a shrine maiden, she always has a bad premonition when danger comes. It feels like it was 2 years ago. It was under this strong premonition that Wanliga Yuri saw Marquis Vauban, and it was also the biggest fear in his heart now. What happened? The comb broke suddenly. Could it be possible? She turned around, intending to walk outside the shrine. However, the girl directly bumped into the oncoming Luo Xia. It's beautiful. The girl was wearing a plain white top and a long red priestess dress covering her slender legs. Although she is young, she has grown into a little beauty, with brown hair hanging down her shoulders and looking very beautiful in the sun. You are! Wanli-gu Yuri was stunned for a moment, then quickly lowered his head, the boundless fear magnified at this moment. The dull expression turned into panic. She recognized the man in front of her, a god-slayer like Marquis Vauban. Today's seventh devil, an extraordinary person who transcends the world, a tyrant with supreme authority. Tisk, so clever, it seems you already know who I am. Luo Xia nodded with satisfaction, not knowing whether she was satisfied with Wanli-gu Yuli or her ability. Now you, including this shrine, have been requisitioned by me. Luo Xia's next words made Wanli-gu Yuli suddenly look shocked. Yuri Wanli-gu seemed to think he had hallucinated. That Lord Demon King, why are you? The girl was about to cry in a hurry, and the only thing left in her heart was the fear of the man in front of her. I don't know why Luo Xia suddenly had to requisition this place, and he also requisitioned himself. Amakusatoma, the next meeting will be at Nanao Shrine. Here is Luo Xia's palace. You mean the place where you meet the various families is at this Nanao Shrine? Amakusatoma's lips became a little dry. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to meet you here, Lord Demon? Amakasatoma said quickly. This shrine is too small. If you want, I will arrange a better palace for you. If you want the maiden in front of you to serve, I will dedicate it to the Demon King later. He thought that Luo Xia was interested in Wanli-gu Yuri, so he sold the girl in front of him without hesitation. Are you questioning me? Luo Xia's indifferent words made Amakusatoma speechless. The terrifying majesty brought by the Demon King made Amakusatoma have to bow his head and submit to Luo Xia in front of him. I understand, the minister will arrange it immediately, and inform the director of She Gongxin and the official history committee. The Demon King's decision, Amakusatoma only executes it, and has no right to question it. Because that is the authority of the Demon King. The authority of the Demon King is unequivocal. Gollum. Wanli-gu Yuri listened to the conversation between the two, and couldn't help but feel extremely frightened, because the man in front of him was a Demon King like Marquis Vauban. Lord Demon King, you can do whatever you want to me, but please don't hurt anyone. The girl closed her eyes and took the initiative to stand in front of Luo Xia, making Luo Xia's expression a little ridiculous. Why should I listen to you? Luo Xia raised her hand and looked at the girl's beautiful face. Although you are indeed a beauty, I don't have any interest in my little sister. There is only one purpose for requisitioning you here. Eh? Are you being selfish? It's just that what Luo Xia is going to do. Wanli-gu Yuli's eyes revealed doubts. Because you are the best maiden in this land. At that time, there will naturally be a time when Yuri Wanli-gu comes in handy. Luo Xia, the monkey god Kuan, is the great sage of the Xia kingdom, and Luo Xia is going to kill it. It's not to wash away the shame of the myth of the Xia kingdom like Master Luo Hao, but to let the last king appear as soon as possible. Relying on the power of the Forum, plus the power of Tensigan and Rinnegan that Luo Xia now possesses, the king of the end is as simple as grabbing the king for Luo Xia. Rather than waiting for the final boss to show himself, Luo Xia might as well take the initiative to reveal the final boss to the world. After the palace was settled, Luo Xia moved from the Tokyo Hotel to the Nanao Shrine. Even if Wanli-gu Yuli is unwilling, then Luo Xia can only stay there and serve as Luo Xia's servant witch. As long as Luo Xia is willing, Wanli-gu Yuli can be eaten. It's a pity that Luo Xia has no interest in the Virgin Mother, and the people of Chongwu still prefer Baimao. If it was Liliana here, Luo Xia might be fascinated. However, who let Luo Xia cross the location is Fusang, not Europa. When She Gongxin knew that Luo Xia had moved in, her expression was astonished, and then she asked Toma Amikasu, "Why didn't you dissuade that Demon King, but you actually succumbed to that little shrine as a palace?" "I have already persuaded me, but Lord Demon King insisted on going his own way. It seems that he has identified Nanao Shrine, and appointed the elders of the official history committee to meet at Nanao Shrine." Toma Kanaka wiped the cold sweat on his face, and answered Se Gongxin in front of him, making Se Gongxin sigh lightly. "That's it. The authority of the Demon King cannot be resisted by anyone." Compared to Tony, the King of Swords, Saya Gongxin felt that the Demon King was more unpredictable. She looked at the information obtained from the Green Niji Sage meeting and couldn't help but fell into deep thought. Grim Niji Council of Sages, an excerpt from the report on the investigation of the seventh Demon King slaying the gods. There are 3 god tiers of Brahmin gods, and Shiva is the god of destruction in Brahmanism. As the god of destruction, Shiva actually possesses the authority of reproduction, creation, destruction and time, as well as a certain degree of omniscience and omnipotence, and occupies an extremely important position in Brahmanism. Brahma created the world, Vishnu maintained the world, and Shiva is the ruler of its destruction. Its predecessor came from Rudra, the Vedic era belonged to the god of storms, and the Ganges civilization era belonged to the reproductive god, Beast Lord. According to the rules of the appearance of gods, omniscient and omnipotent gods cannot appear in the world, and the strength of gods depends on self-knowledge. It is speculated that Shiva, who does not obey, appears to belong to the god of destruction. The seventh demon king induces the gods to descend at the Yakushi temple in Fusang, and defeats Shiva, who does not obey, with unknown power. It is speculated that the authority obtained is related to destruction. Treating the seventh devil needs to be cautious. His origin is mysterious, and his personality is more unpredictable than the Sword King Tony. Don't provoke the Demon King, choose to be hostile to him. A beauty plan? Back at the residence, Saya Gongshin thought about the words of the senior officials of the Official History Committee, and couldn't help but make up her mind. She gritted her teeth, opened her wardrobe, and looked at her only Japanese-style kimono that could be called women's clothing. Try it. She took off her suit jacket and gently unbuttoned her white shirt, revealing a hint of blush in the mirror. Nanao Shrine. Completely unaware of the situation, Luo Xia, who enjoys living in Nanxiong Shrine, gradually mastered the rules related to the Dimensional Forum. The number of invitees to the Dimension Forum question and answer is not fixed, and it is a random selection. In the fog of the question and answer space, only Luo Xia can see the identity information of each person in the fog, and the rest have no permission. Because this is the power of the forum owner. High-value items require more than 10,000 forum points to purchase, and are only limited to the basic power of each world. Such as Pirate World Hockey, Devil Fruit, Swordsmanship or Skill, Hokage World Chakra, Simple Ninjutsu, Shinigami's Heido, Zanpakuto, Moon World's Magic, or the Power of the Dead Apostles, etc. If you want to strengthen your exercise, you can exercise by yourself, or you can rely on the forum points to strengthen the exchange. The starting point for strengthening is 5,000 points. To obtain points, in addition to exchanging their own abilities through the Dimensional Forum, forum members can also exchange for the most valuable things in the world they belong to. Generally, you can get points by signing into the forum every week. Whether you can get more points depends on your luck. In terms of mall exchange, Luo Xia can use the Dimension Mall to exchange, only in the world of Hokage, the world of pirates and Shinigami, and the world of Godkiller where he is located. The forum level is the initial level, and more forum functions will be unlocked when the authority is upgraded. Currently, the enhanced functions are open, exchange in the Dimension Mall, and sign-in points to obtain. Luo Xia looked at the information flashing in front of her eyes. Her eyes could not help thinking. The current development is the ability exchange of these four worlds. Is it because the initial level of the Dimensional Forum is too low? How to upgrade the initial level of the Dimensional Forum? The curious Luo Xia sent out her own question to him. The initial level of the forum is a first-level forum, and the forum owner can upgrade the relevant forum level by completing the corresponding forum tasks, or taking the initiative to invite questions and answers. A Q&A invitation is made every other week, and the forum owner can also make an active invitation once a week. With the level upgrade, the third-level forum level starts unlimited times. Forum members who have completed a Q&A actively invite the forum owner to conduct a Q&A and accept it again. Detailed rules are presented in front of Luo Xia's eyes. Forum level, the highest is level 7. The number of worlds that can be observed in different levels of forums will be different. The higher the level of the Dimensional Forum, the more high-end worlds can be observed and invited to ask questions. What is the high-end world? If you have the power to destroy the star, it can be classified as a high-end world. Or like the world of Doraemon, a world with the ability to change planets and change the universe can also be classified as a high-end world. Due to the improvement of observation ability, the exchangeable items released by the Dimension Mall will be more and more abundant. Although there are a lot of good things in the Dimensional Mall now, there are only 4 worlds that can be opened and exchanged. Like Inuyasha World Demon Power, Anmayojutsu, and Kamen Rider World Belt, they are all non-exchangeable gray states. I see. Luo Xia nodded lightly, feeling a little more curious about the initiative to invite. Let me try it out and make an active invitation to see it. Luo Xia began to choose the active invitation from the Dimension Forum with a hint of anticipation. The active invitation is successful, and the observation world is being searched for you. The next moment, the new invitation was sent successfully. Magical Girl Madoka World. Silongyan Hospital, in a ward. Lit around. Xiaomian woke up from the nightmare, thinking of the scene of Madoka's death. A tear appeared in her eyes. Am I going back to the past now? Her memory stayed at the moment Madoka sacrificed, and this time she was rescued by Madoka. However, Xiaomian is really not reconciled anyway. Obviously, she rescued Madoka, but Madoka sacrificed every time. If only Madoka hadn't become a magical girl. The girl couldn't help muttering, and at the same time, a strong hatred in her heart, thinking of a certain white fluffy guy. Kyubi, as long as I kill you, Madoka won't become a magical girl. The original source of magical girls is Kyubi. For humans, Kyubi is a cute and mysterious creature with the ability to fulfill the wishes of others. If you just want to fulfill other people's wishes, then you have to sign a contract with it to become a magical girl. According to the contract signed, the girl's ability is determined according to the wish. For Xiaomian, Kyubi is a demon among demons. Becoming a magical girl was the biggest mistake in her life, and now she can't wait to cut Kyubi into pieces. Detecting that you have a strong desire to change your destiny, the Destiny Questioner has initiated an invitation to you. Do you accept it? Propose a transaction. The Fate Questioner will fulfill your related wishes, you can know your future destiny, and gain the ability to change the future. The reminder that suddenly sounded in her mind made Xiaomian almost think it was an illusion. Change the future? Xiaomian murmured softly, her eyes gradually becoming firmer. No matter what the cost, as long as Madoka can be prevented from becoming a magical girl and Kyubi can be eliminated, I can pay anything. Xiaomian didn't hesitate and chose to confirm. At the same time, she was also quite curious about whether the so-called Fate Questioner was a god or a demon. The questioner found success, and the questioner, Magical Girl Madoka World, and Xiaomian joined the Dimension Forum. The question and answer space was formed. Luo Xia sat on the high platform and was stunned when she saw the prompts presented in front of her. It's so interesting. Luo Xia never imagined that this time, the one who joined the Dimensional Forum was actually the world of the magical girl Madoka, and she was also the most crucial heroine, Xiaomian. I don't know, what timeline is Xiaomian? If it was Xiaomian in the timeline before magical girl Madoka started, Luo Xia would have to think about how to fool Xiaomian. In that world, the biggest specialty is magical girls. The formation of the magical girl was based on the power of the incubator, family, Kyubi, at the cost of extracting the girl's soul and making it into a soul gem. The magical girl's ability comes from the miracle, distortion produced by the soul gem. The realization of the wish, with the help of the strong emotional power of human beings. Luo Xia is naturally very interested in the world of magical girl Madoka. Not only because of the magical girl, but also because of curiosity about how Kyubi can help human beings to fulfill their wishes. As long as he pays enough equivalents, as the incubator, family, Kyubi can create the ultimate god that affects the order of the universe. How could Luo Xian not be curious? If you can catch Chubby, find out his ability to make wishes come true, and control him, Luo Xia is equivalent to having 7 Dragon Ball dragons that can make wishes at any time. Although the idea is good, Luo Xia does not have permission to go to Xiaomian's world. Unless the forum members actively invite, Luo Xia cannot reach the magical girl Madoka world at present. However, this does not prevent Luo Xia from flicking Xiaomian. In the question and answer space, Xiaomian's eyes looked around. Everything around at this moment was surrounded by fog. And she raised her head and looked at the figure on the high platform. Covered by a layer of fog, Luo Xia's face could not be clearly seen, and the boundless fear in her heart seemed to be magnified at this moment. Xiaomian seemed to see something terrifying. This kind of terror was stronger than when she faced the stage witch. Are you a god or a demon? After recovering, the sense of terror that was so heavy that it was impossible to breathe gradually faded away. Xiaomian lowered her head and did not continue to look at the figure on the high platform. God? Demon? I'm neither a god nor a demon, just an answerer. Luo Xia smiled and did not give Xiao Meiyan a clear answer, leaving everything to Xiao Meiyan's imagination. Here, you can know your future destiny and get the power you want. As long as you pay the corresponding value, you can get everything you want. A strong flow of information hit Xiao Meiyan's mind at this moment. After a long time, Xia Meiyan came back to her senses and realized what kind of space she was in, and what kind of unknown existence was in front of her. You are the so-called evil god. Seeing that Luo Xia didn't answer, Xiao Meiyan already had some guesses in her heart. The unknown existence in front of her might be a more terrifying guy than QB. She took a deep breath and seemed to make up her mind. Can you tell me, can I stop Madoka from becoming a magical girl? Xiao Meiyan asked, and a prompt from the dimensional forum sounded in her mind for a moment. Propose that the exchange is successful, you need to pay your own skill card. You can learn the future from the fate questionnaire? Empowering a skill card? A trace of doubt appeared in Xiao Meiyan's mind. Skill cards, the embodiment of one's own abilities. To trade future information, the corresponding ability of the current questioner needs to be paid. The ability will generate a skill card in exchange. The exchange will not affect the questioner's own ability, but will be analyzed and copied through the questioner's existing ability. Active trading, you will get special dimension forum points. You can get related items through the open dimension mall to optimize your abilities. Looking at the dazzling array of special abilities in the dimension mall, Xia Meiyan knew for the first time that there were other worlds. Can you actually purify the soul gem? Xiao Meiyan looked at what the dimensional mall could provide, and immediately showed an incredible expression. The magical girl consumes her own miracle, power, and the realization of magical ability requires a price. This price is due to the consumption of the soul gem, which will make the core of the soul gem cloudy. Without the power of the lamentation seed, a magical girl cannot cleanse the filth of her soul gem. However, when she knew that the witch was the fallen form of a magical girl, Xiaomei Hamura became disgusted with being a magical girl and refused to use the seed of lamentation. Now, if you can use the power of the dimensional forum to purify the soul gem, then Xia Meiyan doesn't have to worry about the loss of the soul gem. Generate! Xiao Meiyan did not hesitate, and directly chose to confirm. Skill card generation, you have obtained a skill card. Soul gem generate. Time travel generate. Time is still generation. You get 5,000 forum reward points. Looking at the 3 skill cards presented in front of her eyes, Xia Meiyan was stunned. Among them, time travel and the ability to stop time can still be understood by Xia Meiyan, but can soul gems also be generated as skill cards? You have completed the transaction, and the fate questioner will answer it for you. The huge flow of information quickly entered Xiao Meiyan's mind. At the same time, it's amazing! I didn't expect such a big gain in one go. Luo Xia's eyes lit up. Of the 3 skill cards he obtained, the most rewarded was Xiao Meiyan's soul gem. Because the skill card of the soul gem contains the accumulation of Xia Meiyan's desperation to save Shikame Yuan again and again as she travels through different timelines of reincarnation. The ability to time travel and time still is only secondary to Luo Xia. The most important thing is the despair formed by the accumulation of soul gems. This despair can be exchanged for a lot of good things through the dimensional mall. Let me tell you the future you want. Luo Xia raised her hand, and the future belonging to the magical girl Madoka Xia Meiyan was displayed in her own mind. Xiao Meiyan, whose face was calm originally, burst into tears at this moment. Have I failed again? Madoka. There were tears in Xiao Meiyan's eyes. When she saw Madoka sacrifice herself, she became Ryu of the Ring, a god who saves all magical girls. And everyone has forgotten her who once existed, and the former Shikame Yuan disappeared. In this world, there is only one god named Shikame Yuan. However, this is not what she wants to accept. All she wants is for Madoka to live a peaceful and happy life. Why did she become a magical girl again? Could it be that she really couldn't change her destiny? In addition to being sad, Xia Meiyan seemed to realize something. The future she saw was when she had never seen the dimensional forum. You can know your future destiny and gain the ability to change the future. Xiao Meiyan suddenly realized the meaning of this sentence, and when she came to this dimensional forum, she could truly have the power to change the future. In this case, even defeating the stage which will not be a problem. Xiao Meiyan couldn't help taking a deep breath when she looked at the dimensional mall in front of her. What she could actually use was the function of purifying the soul gem, and each purification of the soul gem only cost 100 points. To completely erase the negative effects of the soul gem, it takes 5,000 points, just like strengthening. It's just that if the 5,000 points are used up, Xiao Meiyan doesn't know how long it will take to get so many points again. In her heart, she couldn't help but hesitate a little more. While hesitating, he was full of curiosity about everything in front of him. If the points are exhausted, how can I get more points? Can this space really connect different dimension worlds? Xiao Meiyan couldn't help but said, "Why did you create this world?" This space connects different dimension worlds, and Xiao Meiyan believes that not only one person has arrived here. Xiao Meiyan was actually a little skeptical about the identity of the Dimensional Forum and Luo Xia. TSK, she really asked about the key point. Luo Xia was at a loss for words. To be honest, Luo Xia hadn't thought of how to make better use of the Dimensional Forum when he obtained this Dimension Forum. This time, Xiao Meiyan's words seemed to wake up Luo Xia. He seemed to be blessed with soul, seemed to understand something, and said, "Observation game. If you want to get more, then take out the most valuable thing in your world and come to exchange it." Luo Xia's words made Xiao Meiyan look shocked. Before Xiaomian could react, she returned to the reality of the magic circle world from the question and answer space. Magical Girl Madoka World. In the ward, Xiao Meiyan woke up. Entering the question and answer space makes Xiaomian feel like she is in a dream. She covered her head, and the intense mental pain made Xiao Meiyan's face pale. Thinking of Luo Xia's words, she couldn't help but let out a wry smile. Is it just a game? Observation is observation. Xiao Meiyan pondered for a while, and suddenly thought of something. Is it possible? Is it observing a different other world? If this is the case, Xiao Meiyan somewhat understands the meaning of Luo Xiao's words. Ha! She smiled lightly and shook her head involuntarily. Forget it, it has nothing to do with me, all I need is the power to save Miao Yuan. Only when she becomes stronger herself, can Xiaomian be able to defeat the stage witch, so that Madoka will not become a magical girl. Anyway, I will never let you sacrifice, Madoka. No matter what the future she saw, she would never allow Madoka to disappear from everyone's memory this time. After making up her mind, Xiao Meiyan became familiar with the functions of the Dimensional Forum. At this time, her eyes fell on the sign-in. Can you get points by signing in? Subconsciously, Xiao Meiyan chose to sign in, and the prompt tone of the forum sounded in Xiao Meiyan's mind. Sign in successfully. You get forum points, 5000. The huge surprise made Xiao Meiyan widen her eyes, feeling like she was dreaming. Actually got 5,000 points at one time. In addition to the points obtained by trading skill cards, Xiao Meiyan's points have reached 10,000 points, which is the condition for being able to purchase high-value products in the Dimension Mall. When she wanted to click to sign in again, a new prompt appeared in front of Xiao Meiyan's eyes. Please sign in 7 days later. Damn it, is there a time limit? Xiao Meiyan gritted her teeth. Although she was a little unwilling, she was instantly satisfied when she saw the 5,000 extra points she had gained. In this case, as long as I don't use the magical girl's ability, I can ensure that the soul gem will not fall into turbidity so quickly. What's the ability to quickly become stronger here? Her eyes fell on the Dimensional Mall, chakra in the Hokage world, ninjutsu, haki in the pirate world, devil fruit, Heido and Shinigami, the power of the Quincy, and the magic of the god-killing world. These spend 10,000 points and get the basic entry level. Relying on these abilities to deal with witches is definitely not enough for Xiaomei Hamira. Kamen Rider Time King Belt? After looking at it for a while, Xiao Meiyan's eyes stayed on the options of Kamen Rider World, and in the purchasable list provided by the Dimensional Mall, there happened to be one item called Sherwang Belt, which came from Kamen Rider Sherwang World. Time King Belt. From the world of Kamen Rider Sherwang, through the time-space driver and the control watch head to transform. Purchase points, 10,000. That's fine then. The points required for the Shurwang belt are exactly 10,000 points, which is completely enough for Xiao Meiyan. Moreover, the power of the Master Kamen Rider Tokuwang seems to have an effect on destroying the witch. However, the follow-up promotion will be a little embarrassing, and I hope to earn more points in the future. After all, a dial requires 100,000 points, let alone upgrading to the second level. What she sees is that Kamen Rider Toki King has the ability to erase the history of knights, so can Toki King's power erase the history of witches? Successful purchase, you have obtained the King of Time belt. Following the prompt of the Dimension Forum, Kamen Rider Shurwang's belt and Shurwang dial appeared on Xiaomian's hospital bed. Holding the Shurwang belt and dial in her hand, Jian Xiaomian suddenly understood how to use Shurwang's power. Should be like that. She got off the bed, looked at the mirror beside the bed, and slowly put on the space-time drive. Time and space drive! Xiaomian installed the control head next to the driver. She tilted the time-space drive slightly, and behind the girl, a huge dial appeared. Kamen Rider, Toki King's transformation is complete. Xiao Meiyan looked at herself in the mirror, showing an incredible appearance. When she put on the Shurwang driver, Xiao Meiyan suddenly understood something. This force can change the past, as well as the present and the future. She clenched her fists and looked at herself in the mirror. From today onwards I am Wang Xiaomian when I was Kamen Rider, and the history of the witch will be erased by myself. Xiaomian felt good. When wearing the Shurwang driver, Xiaomian became the only Shurwang in the magical girl Madoka world, and the first Kamen Rider. Because of her status as a magical girl, Shurwang's power has an additional effect, that is, as long as Xiao Meiyan defeats the witch, she can erase the witch's history of becoming a magical girl. In other words, witches have never existed, and the so-called witches will revert to normal human beings. This power was exactly what Xiao Meiyan wanted. Godslayer World. Increase the world of observation, increase the world of One Punch, increase the world of Xingyue, increase the world of Kamen Rider Shurwang, increase the world of game life, and develop the exchange function of the relevant dimension mall. Forum member Xiaomian completed one purchase, Time King Belt. The history of magical girl Madoka has undergone major changes. You have successfully rewritten the fate of Xiaomian's character, and received 10,000 bonus points. Since you actively invited the question and answer, no question and answer points will be awarded for this question and answer. The Dimensional Forum has been upgraded to a second-level forum, and the owner of the forum is also invited to make persistent efforts. Luo Xia was stunned when she saw the message that popped out in front of her. In addition to the original 4 worlds, are there 4 more worlds with exchangeability? However, what was the condition that triggered the promotion of the Dimensional Forum to the second-level forum, which made Luo Xia suddenly show a puzzled expression? Could it be this is it? Luo Xia looked at the news presented in front of him, and found the news of the sale of Shurwang's belt. The corner of his mouth could not help twitching. Xiaomian, from a magical girl to a king of Kamen Rider. It seems that this is not impossible. Did this cause a major change in the history of magical girl Madoka's world? In this case, the principle of the ring should not appear. The power of Kamen Rider appeared in the world of the magical girl Madoka, and Toshio himself has the ability to erase the history of knights. In the world of magical girl Madoka, it is estimated that the ability to erase the history of magical girls or witches will increase. The level upgrade of the Dimension Forum is based on various judgments. Active invitations have triggered the behavior of forum members that may cause major changes in the history of the original world. The forum will complete the world observation and end, and record the coordinates to upgrade the corresponding level. If the second level forum continues to improve, it is necessary to carry out corresponding question and answer invitations, or to trigger major behaviors of multiple forum members that may change the history of the original world. Only after judgment will the forum level continue to be upgraded. The prompt presented in front of him immediately answered Luo Xia's doubts. Alright, I got it. The promotion of the level of the Dimensional Forum is not a coincidence for Luo Xia. Realizing this, Luo Xia didn't go down with the ultimate meaningless thing, but set his sights on the reward he got from Xiao Meian. The time still and time travel skill cards can be used directly to accommodate Luo Xia's body. But what about the Soul Gem skill card Luo Xia? You can exchange the corresponding points, or exchange equivalent products through the Dimension Mall. This is the special authority of the forum owner. The forum's tips made Luo Xia's eyes shine. Is it a replacement for an equivalent item? If so, then give it a try. Putting the skill card on it, Luo Xia put 3 skill cards, a soul gem, and 2 timeline abilities of Xiao Meian. Permutable list selections. Model Moon World Jewel 1 the second method. Dating Battle Shizaki Kwangsan Angel Kekedi. Game Life World Dragon Essence Time and Space Ability. Kamen Rider, the King of Demons, the Power of Demons. Looking at the replaceable ability presented in the list, Luo Xia immediately fell into a tangle. There are 4 replaceable abilities presented in the Dimensional Mall, the most special of which are the time and space magic of the dragon spirit species, and the power of the King of the Time of the Devil. Jewel Wang's second method, as well as Tokisaki Kurumi's Angel Kiki Emperor, all have certain limitations to some extent. Needless to say, the second method of Jewel Wang can interfere with the parallel world and obtain infinite magic power from the parallel world, but all it does is observe the parallel world, extract the magic power of the atmosphere from the parallel world and share it with the original world itself. The Angel Kekedi possesses 12 kinds of time interference abilities. Using abilities will reveal a giant clock. The long needles and short needles of the huge clock are ancient rifles and pistols, respectively. The ability of Kekedi is fired as bullets. The numbers on the clock have various powerful abilities, but they consume their own lifetime. Luo Xia was a little hesitant between the 2 abilities, the time and space ability of the dragon essence, and the ability of the king to meet the devil. Needless to say, the king's power to meet the devil has all the power of knights, manipulating time, psychic power, shock waves, and manipulating the law of causality. The time and space ability of the dragon essence species is even more powerful, centering itself on the now, coexisting at the past and future time points, ensuring that they are immortal, and at the same time gaining invincible power. In all fairness, Luo Xia prefers the time and space ability of the dragon essence, but the disadvantage of the dragon essence is obvious. Because the essence of the dragon essence is a container that contains a special space, its past and future are reflected and echoed in this space, bringing infinite power. But as long as the container is damaged a little, and the force from the outside invades the body, the dragon will respond infinitely to the small injury, the attack that erodes the body, and eventually turns it into a huge body that devours itself. Trauma and then self-destruction. In the game life world, the dragon essence is said to be strong, but the weakness is so obvious. The premise is that no one finds the weakness of the dragon spirit species, otherwise it will not create the impression that the dragon spirit species can rival the god species. If the dragon spirits don't consider it, then for Luo Xia, there is only the power of the king of the devil. The power of the king of time is the power of time and the power of all knights. Destroying time and space, creating time and space, this is the king of the devil. In fact, the power of time happens to be what Luo Xia lacks the most at the moment, and Shi Wang's ability just comes in handy. Let's just use the power of the king in the devil's time. Luo Xia's eyes stayed on the magic power in front of him. The power of the god killer, coupled with the time-related ability of the demon king, I don't know what interesting changes will occur. With only the power to kill gods, how could Luo Xia be called a qualified demon king? The power that belongs to the king of the time of the devil, Luo Xia soon became greedy. With Luo Xia's choice, the magic power of the king of demons was replaced successfully, and the 3 skill cards Luo Xia obtained were replaced and consumed. The replacement is successful, you get the power of the king and the devil when you meet the devil. The power belonging to the king of time is displayed on Luo Xia's body, and his eyes are as bright as gold. Amazing, that's the power! He nodded, feeling very satisfied with Feng Mo's power. The main reason for choosing Feng Mo is his power to change the world and reset the timeline. As for his ability planning, Luo Xia has a clear direction. Moreover, this ability also has a miraculous effect for Luo Xia to travel to other worlds. As long as this ability defeats the opponent, it can take the opponent's power. In other words, Luo Xia can take away the time and history of others. This ability is enough to match Luo Xia, so Luo Xia can be called the Demon King. Just when Luo Xia experienced the power of magic. In the girl's room. However, Wanli Guyuri looked nervous. Luo Xia had been living in this Qixing shrine for 3 days, and he had completely regarded it as his residence. The aggrieved Yuri Wanliga had to acquiesce to the fact that his shrine was occupied by the Demon King of Dammit, and he had to take the initiative to lure and gain the favor of the Demon King under the conscious or unintentional hint of Amikotoma. It's just, how did Yuri Banrigi do such a shameful thing? Even if she did that, is the Demon King really interested in him? In this regard, Banliga Yuri is deeply suspicious. Compared to the Demon King she had seen, Luo Xia was not as brutal as she imagined, but the level of trickery was at the level of a Demon King. What should I do? A simple girl can't help but fall into one-sided worries. Wanli Guyuli actually guessed right. Luo Xia didn't actually have much interest in her. If Wanli Guyuli hadn't been useful, Luo Xia would not have come here to let her stay by his side. After all, Luo Xia still needs Yuri Wanliga's sister to break the seal of the monkey god Kun, because she still has time to come in handy. With a suitable shrine maiden, it can also be used in the ritual summoning of the god of disobedience. Otherwise, Luo Xia would not have any interest in women with the same heart as the Virgin. For Wanli Guyuri's idea, Luo Xia regarded it as a wonderful misunderstanding. Meanwhile, the world of Hokage. New members join the Dimensional Forum. The level of the Dimensional Forum is upgraded to the second level forum, and the Dimensional Mall opens the exchange of new observation world abilities. The prompt of the forum was presented in front of Uchiha Madara. Second level forum? This means that there are new people joining the Dimensional Forum. Uchiha Madara took a deep breath. It seemed that he was not the only one joining the Dimensional Forum. Obtaining the Dimensional Forum can be said to be the opportunity to turn over the last life of Uchiha Madara. He doesn't care what is behind the Dimensional Forum, what is the purpose of building the so-called Dimensional Forum. Uchiha Madara knows that it is because of the Dimensional Forum that he can change the fate of his life. Otherwise, his life will turn into a sad joke like the future he sees. Hee Black Zetsu. No matter what, Uchiha Madara won't let Black Zetsu go. It's just that there is still a place for Black Zetsu. Uchiha Madara is not in a hurry to get rid of Black Zetsu. Even if it can't be solved, Uchiha Madara can completely seal that guy with his own abilities. It will never be possible to split the moon to save the mother. As the price of cheating for so many years, Uchiha Madara about the infinite Tsukuyumi plan has to start to re-examine how to execute it. The power of the tail beast must be obtained, because it is related to the 10 Tails sacred tree, and the origin of chakra, the chakra fruit. As a native of the Hokage world, Uchiha Madara cannot destroy the vitality of the earth under her feet in order to plant a sacred tree. However, this does not mean that Uchiha does not covet the power of the tailed beast. If the 9 Tails Jinchuriki becomes one, the power they possess can change the world. He no longer wants to rewrite the world with infinite Tsukuyumi, but becomes 10 Tails Jinchuriki and embarks on the path of unifying the ninja world. Unity of the ninja world is the right way. Otherwise, Uchiha Madara would not be able to better integrate the power of the ninja world. Uchiha Madara already knew the origin of the Otsutsuki clan and the origin of chakra in the Hokage world, so Uchiha Madara felt nervous. Leaving aside Otsutsuki Kagaya, in the future that Uchiha Madara saw, 3 more Otsutsuki came to the world of Hokage. Although it is only a fragment of future information, it does not appear to be too complete, but Uchiha Madara is deeply aware of the horror of Otsutsuki. The so-called sacred tree is derived from the creation of Otsutsuki. Otsutsuki relied on the power of constantly planting divine trees in other worlds and devouring the planet of life to grow himself. How could Uchiha Madara be careful about such an existence? However, now that he has the power of the Dimensional Forum, Uchiha Madara has the confidence to deal with Otsutsuki. Because the Dimension Forum, which can connect to the world, is more powerful than the so-called Otsutsuki clan. Unfortunately, Uchiha Madara received too little information on Otsutsuki. If you want to know more, Uchiha Madara can only get information about the Otsutsuki clan through existing intelligence. At the same time, Uchiha Madara also knows one thing, that is, the dead Sage of Six Paths is still monitoring the world. I must have power beyond Sage of Six Paths. Only beyond the power of the Sage of Six Paths can Uchiha Madara be confident against Otsutsuki Kagaya, including any members of the Otsutsuki clan who may come to the world of Hokage. Hashirama, I will prove that I am right. His philosophy cannot pass on true peace. Humans curled up on small planets cannot obtain a better future. At this moment, Uchiha Madara has set his sights on the world outside the world of Hokage. The land of fire and the land of water meet. Am I suspected? Black Zetsu's mood became low, and he always felt that something was wrong with Uchiha during this time. Not only was something wrong, but Black Zetsu felt that Uchiha Madara's attitude towards him had become a little stiff and cold. Humph, if I didn't have to rely on your strength to save my mother. Black Zetsu snorted coldly, gritted his teeth. It wasn't because of this that Black Zetsu wouldn't be so shy in front of Uchiha Madara, and he was suspicious of Uchiha Madara for being so saddened. Thinking of this, Black Zetsu seemed to be even more annoyed. I hope I'm more mindful. He sighed and didn't think any further. Now Black Zetsu's task is to choose a suitable heir for Uchiha Madara. After all, Uchiha Madara is old. His old age is just the power left by Uchiha Madara, and he must find a suitable person to pass it on until the moment when Uchiha Madara has a chance to resurrect. Black Zetsu just needs to wait quietly for Uchiha Madara to die, and then secretly control and influence Uchiha Madara's successor, so that he can execute his plan as he wishes. Pure Black Zetsu, completely unaware that Uchiha Madara knew everything at this time. He was kept in the dark and still worked hard for Uchiha Madara. The world of Hokage is beginning to change in a direction that Luo Xia does not know. The changes in the ninja world have nothing to do with Luo Xia at present. The time flow rate of the world to which the members of the Dimension Forum belong is completely different from that of Luo Xia. Unless the Dimension Forum is connected, the time flow rate will tend to be the same. Godslayer World. Luo Xia released the transformation of the King of the Devil, and the power brought by the King of the Devil is extremely powerful. Luo Xia in that posture really feels what the power of the devil is. That is the power of destruction and creation, the power of time and space. Only the true king can possess the miracle power of the master. This power, even if I deal with the so-called god of disobedience, I am completely worthy of it. And with this power, the so-called last king is nothing to Luo Xia. It's time to think about how to release the seal of the monkey god Kun as soon as possible. With this power, Luo Xia can't wait to rely on Shi Wang's ability to erase the history of the last king. However, when Luo Xia just walked out of the room, the wind suddenly rolled up outside the shrine. An uninvited guest approached Nanao's shrine. A strong atmosphere of depression and terror spreads in all directions. The swaggering Tony broke into the Nanao shrine, and the main entrance of the shrine was blown and shattered by the sudden storm. Ha ha ha, I feel it, it's really powerful. The King of Swords, Tony, let out a hearty laugh at this moment, and said to Luo Xia in front of him, My new compatriot, go all out to fight me. Hold it. Tony put down the big sword on his shoulders and pointed at Luo Xia in front of him. A sharp sword edge formed in his eyes, heading straight for Luo Xia. Ruined. Amakusa Dongma, who came quickly, fell into the ice cellar at this moment, and his mood was extremely bad at this moment. The King of Swords, why did he appear in Fusang? According to the information he obtained, there was no record that the King of Swords would arrive at Fuso. At this time, Amakusa Toma felt the coming of a nightmare in an instant. Are you declaring war on me? Salvatore, the sixth king? Luo Xia looked at Tony indifferently, as if looking at an idiot. In a sense, Luo Xia, this guy is indeed an idiot, and he is a guy who gets into trouble everywhere to compete with others. It's too cold, my dear friend. Tony scratched his head, his words seemed a little lost. I came across 2 oceans in order to reach Fusang as soon as possible, and I abandoned Andre just to meet you. I don't remember when I made you a close friend. He smiled naturally. His eyes instantly became cold at this moment, and endless killing intent poured into Tony. How did this idiot become the demon king who killed gods? Looking at the idiot in front of him, Luo Xia pursed her lips and let out a sneer. Tony, who didn't know what he had done, felt the strong killing intent brought by Luo Xia, but Tony smiled like a husky, looking very excited. He felt joy in his mood, his body trembled slightly because of the excitement, and the majestic mantra like the sea surged out from Tony's body. Boom! Suddenly, Tony didn't react. A repulsive force just bounced Tony away in an instant, causing him to fly 100 meters away, directly out of the boundary of the 7 Heroes Shrine, and at the same time interrupting his spell mobilization. Toma Amakasu and Yuri Banligu, who heard the movement, had just arrived at the battlefield where the 2 were, and the magician in the shrine had seen such a scene. That is... Amakusa Doma's eyes immediately fell on Luo Xia. The golden belt appeared on Luo Xia's waist, and everyone didn't realize what was going to happen. The next moment, everyone saw an extremely shocking scene. Luo Xiao's hands were placed on both ends of his golden space-time drive, and the ground behind his feet cracked open in an instant, revealing the huge logo of the King of Demons. With the sound of domineering blessings sounding out of thin air, the magma bursting out of the ground cracked and flowed over the entire demon sign. Blessing moment. The most benevolent, the most good, the supreme, the most powerful. King of the time of the devil. With the instant solidification of the lava and the demon's symbol, gold and black armor covered Luo Xia's body in an instant. The unparalleled terrifying pressure spreads in all directions. This power is... Toma Amakasa seemed to realize something. His voice trembled at this moment. Luo Xia's power was much stronger than that of a god slayer. Is this power Luo Xia originally possessed? He had seen the so-called demon king, but he had never seen a king like Luo Xia. As if Luo Xia was born to be king. Becoming a king is Luo Xia's natural destiny. Perhaps, the Lord Demon King is the unique and supreme king in this world. At this meeting, Donma Amakasa seems to have been completely convinced by Luo Xia. At the same time, Toma Amakasa also understood what happened to the previous sense of oppression. Is that Luo Xia testing his strength? The king of the devil, the king of time? Watching Luo Xia's successful transformation, Wanli Gu Yuli also understood the meaning of being a king when he meets the devil, a king who was born to be a king. Are you really a god slayer? Even more shocking, it was Tony. The power he had never seen before made Tony feel a sense of danger. Not only is it dangerous, he feels that as long as Luo Xia is willing, the history of his existence, or the history of himself becoming a god slayer, will be completely erased. As long as Luo Xia thinks about it, then it can really be done, because this is the authority of the King of Time. God Slayer? You could say that. Luo Xia let out a laugh, and looked at him dangerously, but Tony felt his hair stand on end. I am still the most benevolent, the most good, the most supreme, the most powerful king of the time of the devil, the king of time who destroys time and space and creates everything. Are you scared? Tony, the king of swords. Luo Xia's words made Tony shake his head, but he smiled excitedly. No, I'm excited, and I'm even more looking forward to fighting with you. Ha! Luo Xia snorted lightly, and his eyes fell on Tony. Then I will do as you wish. Witness the mighty power of the King of Time. Boom! Before Tony could react, Luo Xia's fist had already landed on Tony's body. In the blink of an eye, the environment around Tony has changed, from Nanao Shrine to Tokyo Bay. It's amazing, how could it be possible to do this? Realizing what kind of opponent he was facing, Tony immediately adjusted his state. Oath! I don't allow anything that I can't cut off. This sword can sever everything on the earth, and it is an invincible blade in the world. The power of power is instantly liberated at this moment. He held the big sword in his hand, and the big sword turned into a dazzling silver color, slashing towards Luo Xia like a swirling cloud. Tony's power can cut everything in the world. Interesting. Luo Xia raised her hand and touched the silver blade. It's too weak, you make me unsatisfied, Salvatore Tony. Luo Xia's words were like a mockery of Tony. You came here with all your hard work just to fight me. Then now I have fulfilled your wish. Unfortunately, you let me down. As soon as Luo Xia's voice fell, the magic sword built by Tony's power in the next second was easily smashed by Luo Xia's right hand. Boom! Tony's body flew out like a broken kite in an instant, the blood in his mouth spurted out, and his body fell straight to the ground. The blood in his mouth spurted out, and his body fell straight to the ground. For Tony, this was the first defeat. Tony, who tasted defeat, felt his weakness for the first time. However, if he lost like this, Tony really felt unwilling. The authority of Blessing of Steel worked, repairing Tony's injuries. He held the broken sword, and the power of power worked again. I don't allow anything that I can't cut off. This sword can sever everything on the earth, and it is an invincible blade in the world. The magic power like a mountain torrent was fully vented at this moment, and the broken magic sword was regenerated under the power of power, and Tony used his full power output in the true sense. What is power? That is the authority that only the gods in the sky can control, the embodiment of natural phenomena, conceptualized as the real authority of the gods. Tony's power, tears silver arm, can tear everything and cut off everything. Simply put, it is the terrifying power that can split things in two and cut everything. Even Tony himself couldn't understand how terrifying power he was able to form with his full power output. At the moment when the power is activated, his flesh and blood hand will become a real silver arm. Even if the object being held is not a sword, it can be constructed and forged by the power of power and become the ultimate artifact that cuts all things. My dear friend, witness my power, ha ha ha! Tony let out a hearty laugh, and what he was looking for, the god-killing demon king who came from the ocean, was a fun and dripping battle. Whether it was defeat or death, Tony was satisfied. His eyes revealed only the fiery fighting intent, that is, Luo Xia himself was a little moved. Should I praise your arrogance, or laugh at your stupidity? Luo Xia shook his head, looked at Tony in front of him, and couldn't help showing a speechless appearance. This guy is really so clueless. Then come on, show your strength with all your strength, god-killing demon king. Under the cover of the magic armor, Luo Xia is completely fearless. What's more, Luo Xia can easily defeat the King of Swords Tony by using his own power, even if he doesn't use the power of the devil. It is rare to encounter such a suitable opponent, which can give Luo Xia the power of magic. How could he miss this opportunity? As soon as his voice fell, Tony, who had a fanatical fighting spirit, suddenly attacked Luo Xia at this moment. At this moment, he is the strongest sword demon king. The vast and inconceivably huge magic power turned into a torrent of silver sword light, and fell straight to Luo Xia. Boom! Luo Xia raised her hand, and her right hand abruptly pressed against the silver dazzling sword light. The powerful hedging air currents spread in all directions, directly extending for thousands of meters. What? In the next second, Tony's eyes froze. This time Luo Xia still resisted Tony's sword light with one hand. Drink! The impact of the sword light was offset, and the huge repulsive force spread to the surroundings, hitting Tony directly. Tony landed on the ground, the big sword inserted into the ground to stabilize his body, but at this moment, the invisible gravity was pressing on Tony's body. What? The authority of steel's protection continued to operate. In order for Tony to resist the sudden oppression of gravity, he stood up and clenched the great sword in his hand. He still had a fanatical fighting spirit, which continued to show in Tony's eyes. He turned into a beast and charged straight towards Luo Xia. His blood seemed to tremble at this moment. His power has the power to change the continental plates. Today's Tony has only reached the limit that human beings can achieve. It's just that he has not surpassed human beings, and he has not understood the conceptual power of the power he has acquired. Even so, Luo Xia had to praise Tony's bravery in his heart, because he was indeed a pure warrior. In pursuit of the ultimate battle, satisfy your mad and ardent desire to challenge yourself. Unfortunately, I have no interest in fighting you anymore. Luo Xia's voice just fell, and he swiped on the golden space-time drive. The final moment. When the devil hits, the king must kill. Putting on the armor of the king of demons, Luo Xia jumped into the sky, turned into a golden flame, and met the king of swords, Tony. It belongs to the powerful coercion brought by the power of the devil, and it approaches the king of swords from top to bottom. Tony only resisted for a second, and the great sword in his hand shattered in an instant, and the brilliance like the sun fell on Tony's body. Boom! The power of the King of Time, which can end everything, just burst out in an instant, and this time Tony really fell to the ground. The world is at peace now. The power of Blessing of Steel is not invincible in itself. Under the power of Luo Xia that can end everything, the Sword King Tony just turned into fly ash in an instant. The power of killing gods is indeed powerful, but how can it be compared to the power of demons that can destroy time and space and create the world? Luo Xia snapped her fingers, which belonged to the power of the King of Time, and made time go backwards in an instant. Am I dead? No, why am I still alive? When Tony opened his eyes, he thought he was hallucinating. He remembered Luo Xia's attack that he couldn't resist. He was turned to ashes by Luo Xia's kick like this, and his memory was shattered here. Then, when he woke up, he found that he was still alive, and the whole person was stunned. You are indeed dead, but I erased the time when you died, which is equivalent to your being rescued by me. Luo Xia dismantled the armor of the Demon King, looked at the awakened Sword King Tony, and let out a funny laugh. Since you are alive, let's talk about the conditions. Do you choose to surrender or die again? As the price for your loss, I have already taken your life. Your life now belongs to me, Tony, the King of Swords. Luo Xia's indifferent words made Tony's eyes widen. He didn't expect Luo Xia to come out like this. In that case, it's really okay. Tony scratched his head, showing a look of distress. It's just that, it's not easy for me to explain to Andre, but who made me leave Andre and just want to trouble Luo Xia? Paying such a price was considered light for Tony. Just treat it as the kindness of the Supreme King, not to mention Luo Xia has no intention of taking Tony's life. If it really kills him, Luo Xia is also worried that it will affect the appearance of the last king and the power of the last king. The number of God's layers determines how strong the last king is, and the God's layers of this period happen to be the largest number of God's layers in history, and the strength of the last king far exceeded history. Don't you want to? Luo Xia said indifferently, staring at Tony with air. In this case, Luo Xia would not be a compulsive character. He raised his hand and could destroy Tony with his strength at any time. Really, I'm too arrogant, ha! Tony shook his head, although his face showed helplessness, but he felt satisfied. Then I will surrender to you. One king surrendering to another king is nothing to a character like Tony's. What's more, Luo Xia has a power beyond Tony's. I don't know if this power is the power to kill gods. Tony has indeed recognized the power of Luo Xia. However, is that power your original power? This kind of power is simply more terrifying than the so-called disobedience. Tony's eyes are full of curiosity about Luo Xia's ability. What do you say? Luo Xia chuckled, and now the power of magic is Luo Xia's power. With this power, Luo Xia can easily destroy everything. Destroy time and space, and even rebuild the world, but in that case, you have to touch the mythical rules of this world. In that case, it will trigger a battle with the myth of the whole world. If he really fights, he is a little worried that the whole world will collapse. What's more, Luo Xia is only at the beginning of the master's power to meet demons. Luo Xia feels that his power to meet demons actually has more room for improvement. What terrifying heights will he reach when he masters the mythic power of the entire world? In Luo Xia's heart, there is actually some expectation. Tony was a little speechless. He sighed and just accepted his fate. Who let himself be defeated by Luo Xia? The current Tony is the loser, and the loser has no right to negotiate conditions. Then, after watching it for so long, it should have appeared. Luo Xia turned his gaze away from Tony and looked into the distance. An uneasy figure walked out from not far away. It was Lu Yinghua, who came across the ocean and arrived in Tokyo not long ago. It feels more terrifying than the master. Lu Yinghua's expression was stiff. He couldn't help swallowing, feeling extremely nervous at this time. Junior Lu Yinghua, I have seen the seventh king. He wiped the cold sweat on his face and gave Luo Xia a big gift, with a sincere and humble expression, for fear that he might provoke Luo Xia. Lu Yinghua didn't give Tony a salute, because Tony had a carefree temperament, and wouldn't care about it. What's more, the stronger player on the scene is Luo Xia, the seventh king. As for Luo Xia's strength, Lu Yinghua had a hunch that it was enough to beat 10 of his own masters. I recognize you, you are the apprentice of the East Sect master. Tony looked at Lu Yinghua, and immediately asked Lu Yinghua, why did you appear on the land of Fusang? 2 years before becoming the King of Swords, Tony had only suffered losses at the hands of 2 godslayers. The deity who robbed Marquis of Woban and retreated, but he was also very embarrassed, and almost lost to the hands of Luo Hao, the leader of the East. Since then, Tony has vowed never to step into the Xia Kingdom again. Land. Until today, 2 years later, I met Luo Xia and tasted the first real defeat. Tony's question made Lu Yinghua's lips dry, but fortunately he quickly adjusted his breathing and said to Luo Xia, return to the 7th king, and the 6th king, Junior Lu Yinghua Feng Teacher 5 Prisons Holy Sect Small Gathering. I don't know if the 7th king can admire his face. Come to Lushan's small nunnery to gather. When Lu Yinghua finished speaking, Luo Xia's face showed a playful expression, and then said, you said that woman is looking for me? Cough cough, yes. Lu Yinghua said cautiously, and his words were a little unfavorable at this time. My teacher heard that the 7th king, you and your teacher are from the family, and you are talented from the Xia Kingdom, so I invite you here. You go to Lushan Nunnery. Don't go. Before Lu Yinghua finished speaking, Luo Xia directly interrupted Lu Yinghua's words. If that woman of your teacher wants to see me, then come to Fusang to see me. He chuckled lightly. His tone was extremely arrogant. That woman, what qualifications does that woman have for me to personally go to Mount Lu, just because she is it the leader of the holy sect of the 5 prisons? Although I was born in the Xia country, I don't have a cold for her. Luo Xia's words made Lu Yinghua almost kneel on the ground, some offensive words even he dared not say to Luo Hao. Bring my words to the woman, and come in person if you want to see my words. Let me see if the rumored Eastern sect master is a beauty. If it is a beauty, why don't you commit yourself to me as a concubine? That's right, Luo Xia was talking about his concubine, not his wife. How dare Lu Yinghua say such offensive words? Little Junior. Lu Yinghua didn't dare to breathe, and lowered his head, not knowing how to reply Luo Xia. Why don't you dare say it? Luo Xia smiled, her words a little playful. He suddenly remembered that Luo Hao had been training his apprentice since he was a child, which caused Lu Yinghua to have a psychological shadow on women. Lu Yinghua, how dare he? If I really want to say, it is Lu Yinghua himself who suffers. Thinking of the tragic situation he may face, his face becomes extremely pale at this time. After all, once his teacher got angry, the consequences would be unimaginable for him. Why don't you dare to send a message to that woman, your teacher? Luo Xia showed a playful expression and looked at Lu Yinghua playfully. Would you like me to help you? As long as you want, I can give it to you against her power. Luo Xia's words were like a demon's voice to lure Lu Yinghua. Having said that, Lu Yinghua was still quite sober, and naturally he couldn't believe that Luo Xia could really give him the strength to resist the leader of Luo Hao. In all fairness, Luo Hao is still Lu Yinghua's teacher, and he still has the etiquette and awe of teachers and students. Junior, the younger generation will try their best to convey to you the 7th king. Please don't embarrass the younger generation. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Luo Hao, his body trembling with fear at this moment. All right. Seeing this, Luo Xia shook his head and stopped teasing Lu Yinghua. This guy was really afraid of Luo Hao to the core. If you have nothing to do, you can leave as soon as possible. I hope you can fully convey my words. As soon as Luo Xia's voice fell, Lu Yinghua, as if receiving an amnesty, got up and quickly fled the scene, as if he was afraid of being caught by Luo Xia. Those who didn't know thought that Luo Xia had done something horrible to Lu Yinghua. Seeing Lu Yinghua's departure, Luo Xia's expression was a little funny. I wonder how that guy will convey my words? Luo Xia pursed her lips, really looking forward to meeting the leader of the East. In a sense, Luo Xia is indeed interested in the Oriental leader, because she is a traditional ancient woman. It's just that I don't know whether it's because of the influence of the rivers and lakes habits, or because of being a god slayer. Luo Hao's character is not ordinary cruelty. It's over. Lu Yinghua ran for a kilometer before taking a breath and wiping the cold sweat off his body. Just thinking of Luo Xia's previous instructions, Lu Yinghua's face showed a crying expression, because he really didn't know how to convey it to Luo Hao. If I say it so bluntly, I always feel that the master killed me. If Luo Hao was provoked, Lu Yinghua might indeed be affected. Killing is naturally impossible to kill Lu Yinghua. After all, he is the only apprentice of the leader of Luo Hao, but in that case, Lu Yinghua will have to passively be the sandbag of the leader of Luo Hao. Oh, I can only go back. Luo Xia had already refused, and Lu Yinghua couldn't get any results in Fusang. He could only think about how to answer Luo Hao when he returned to Xia. In that case, Luo Hao would probably run out of Lushan Nunnery and teach Luo Xia, the arrogant junior, a lesson. Lushan, a small nunnery on the mountain. Lu Yinghua finally returned to Lushan Mountain, and knelt down outside the Lushan Nunnery. Apprentice Lu Yinghua, please meet the master. Lu Yinghua said, letting Luo Hao, who lives in seclusion in the small nunnery, speak up. Has the 7th king of Fusang come to Lushan Nunnery? Reporting to the master, that king refused your invitation. Lu Yinghua, who hesitated, didn't know how to speak, and his words were a little anxious. And he said something offensive to you. The apprentice doesn't know whether to say it or not. Lu Yinghua's words made Luo Hao suddenly interested. I'm interested in this. Luo Hao laughed, but the tone he revealed was very indifferent. I'm curious, what did he say too much to make you so nervous? That king not only refused your invitation, but also asked you to go to Fusang by name and surname. If you want to see him, you will be sincere if you come to see him in person. And I hope to marry you as a concubine. As soon as Lu Yinghua finished speaking, Lushan Nunnery Nero Hao's voice was like the roar of a dragon and a tiger, and a strong sonic airflow hit Lu Yinghua's body from the inside out. Wow! Lu Yinghua's body almost didn't stabilize and hit the big rock outside Lushan Nunnery. Very courageous. Luo Hao walked out of it. She was wearing a white hanfu, and her black hair that was comparable to silk was braided into 3 braids. In terms of beauty, Luo Hao's beauty is definitely a peerless beauty. It's just that the character is much more difficult to get along with. As a king who is above the top, and there is no suitable man to catch his eye, Luo Hao has been single for more than 100 years. I'm actually interested in the 7th king now. Ingrid, you can accompany your teacher to Rinnegan, and let me see who has the courage to ask me to marry Luo Zilian as a concubine. Luo Hao laughed angrily. The 7th king of Fusang was too arrogant. Annoying her, this arrogance has to pay a price. She will make Luo Xia realize her mistake. Ugh! Lu Yinghua's face was pale. If he went to Fusang again, wouldn't he face the 7th devil again? He raised his head and looked carefully at the teacher in front of him, but he didn't have the courage to refuse. At this moment, he felt that his life had become dark. At this moment, Luo Xia still didn't know that the leader of Luo Hao was coming. However, the news that Luo Xia defeated Tony, the King of Swords, and made a king surrender immediately spread all over the world, especially the Europa Magic Association. The Southern European Magic Association immediately started an emergency meeting to deal with the sudden change. The surrender of one king to another has never happened before. For the Southern European Union of Magical Associations, the more important question is who will they worship? Because this Southern European Magic Association was originally built around the Sword King Tony, and the Sword King Tony was the leader of the Southern European Magic Association. Milan, Bronze Black Cross Headquarters. The meeting of the Southern European Magic Association is currently underway, and the commanders of the 7 major magic associations are arguing with each other about how to deal with this unexpected situation, and they can't argue at all. Too capricious, is that still the king I'm waiting for? The commander-in-chief of the old lady looked a little unsightly. With a frosty face, he had given up hope for the continuation of the Southern European Magic Association. If the 7th king arrives in Europa, how will the Southern European Magic Association deal with this demon king? In the end, the King of Swords has not recognized the identity of the leader, and hasn't it caused us a lot of trouble? It was the commander-in-chief of the Lily City who spoke, and his tone seemed to be very strict, so the commander of the Wolf couldn't help but glance at the commander of the Lily City. However, don't forget how many benefits we have gained by relying on the prestige of the King of Swords. And if they didn't rely on the prestige of the King of Swords, most of the magic associations on the scene would still squeeze the summer under the Marquis of Vauban. It is precisely because of the birth of the King of Swords, Tony, that the Magic Association has the possibility of choosing from both sides. The benefits are good, but we have a lot of troubles to help him clean up. As a king, how can you easily yield to another king? The Demon King is the supreme divine on earth. No demon king will submit to another king's subordinates. The king has not yet come to Europa, so we panic like this. Diana sighed, and as the commander of the Bronze Black Cross, she was suddenly speechless. Then, commander of the Bronze Black Cross, do you have any good opinions? The gaze of the old lady commander immediately fell on Diana. Everything, it's better to wait for the last thing to be settled first, Diana said, with a particularly calm tone. What's more, the King of Swords is still our leader, and the initial unity of the Southern European Magic Association is because of the King of Swords. Sir Salvatore. If he is willing to let the leader of the alliance, let the 7th king sit in this position, I have no opinion. Diana's attitude was obvious, which moved the faces of the others. Have we thought too far? The current leader is still Lord Salvatore. It's not up to us to decide to change the leader. The words of the Blue Fox commander are even more meaningful. The Southern European Magic Association was formed because of Tony, the King of Swords. To disband or change the owner, he had to go through Tony, the leader. No matter in name or in reality, Tony is still the leader of this Magic Association alliance, and he has the right to speak out. Everyone, can you listen to me? Erica Browntree, who was quiet on the side, spoke out calmly, interrupting the conversation of the commanders of the Magic Way. Princess of the Browntree family, what do you have in mind? The old lady commander looked at Erica, but his tone became a little stiff at this time. Even if you are an outstanding junior, don't look at the occasion. The tone of the Wolves commander also showed dissatisfaction at this time. Cough, cough. Erica's uncle, Paul Browntree, coughed lightly. Everyone, listen to Erica, my niece may have some good advice. Paul, it's not good to protect your niece too much. The Lily City commander glanced at Paul and said casually, Forget it, let's hear what the famous princess has to say. I also want to hear, Erica has any good ideas. Although the Bronze Black Cross and the Bronze Black Cross belong to a competitive relationship, there are also corresponding cooperation between the two magic associations in some aspects. Otherwise, how could Diana allow Liliana to befriend Erica? Then I'll talk about it carefully. Erica smiled slightly and looked around. First of all, it is clear that the King of Swords Tony is still our leader, but the 7th king who can defeat the King of Swords is definitely not an ordinary person. Everyone, take a look at Green Niji's report. Erica handed the documents in her hand to the commander of the Magic Society in front of her, and the commander who had seen the documents couldn't help showing a moving expression. Defeat Shiva, the god of destruction. Before defeating the gods, he had incredible power. I don't know if he has become a god slayer before that. Besides, during the battle with the Sword King Tony, according to the blurred images taken by the satellite, it can be seen that the Demon Lord Master has a special transformation method. According to Princess Alice's speculation, in that posture the seventh king has the power to easily destroy the world? No godslayer dares to say that he can destroy the world. And in Luo Xia's report, Princess Alice directly gave the power to destroy the world. Doesn't she have the ability to blow up the earth? Everyone, you should understand what we are going to do next. Erica continued. The seventh king, I can't afford to offend you. In this Magic Association alliance, the Sword King Tony can still be our leader, but it doesn't prevent me from waiting for a new devil. As long as the Demon King needs me to wait, he can naturally do so without hesitation. What do you think? Erica's words made everyone look at each other in dismay. Instead of passively waiting, I suggest taking the initiative to show favor. In this way, you can also add some goodwill in front of the Demon King and leave a good impression. Erica Browntree, a princess from a famous magician. In the future, the Browntree family still needs Erica to inherit. The girl's words awakened the commander of the Magic Society who was present. No matter what, Luo Xia was still the Demon King. It is impossible to sit back and ignore the Luo Xia Southern European Magic Association, but it is definitely beneficial to the Magic Association to take the initiative to form a good relationship. Because that Demon King is the strongest Demon King in the world. Also, I think the Commander-in-Chief of the Lily City is right. Although Tony, the King of Swords, is our king, don't forget how much trouble he has caused us. Erica snorted softly, feeling a little dissatisfied with the Sword King Tony for a long time. Now that we can have a better choice, why not choose another king? The girl's words made the others look at each other in dismay. You are really bold, from the Browntree family. The commander of the old lady smiled and looked at Paul with a playful expression. You have raised a good niece. Paul coughed, not knowing what to say. He knew that his niece had been arrogant since she was a child, and that she had reached the level of a great knight at the age of 16 because of her talent. It's a pity that Erica doesn't know what kind of terrifying monster the so-called God Killer is. I'll have to remind her later. Paul couldn't help thinking, otherwise Erica would suffer in this regard in the future. What he didn't know was that Erica also longed to kill the gods and become a real God Killer. This proud blonde girl did not know that when mortals face the gods, all that was left in their hearts was fear. It is impossible even to stand up bravely and wield a sword to the gods, because one look from the gods will make mortals mentally collapse. A person who can become a godslayer, in addition to having the courage to kill gods, also has his own unique way to defeat gods. As soon as the meeting ended, Paul called Erica to his side. Erica, you did a good job just now, and it didn't cost me the guidance I gave you over the years. Paul smiled kindly. It's just that you are too sharp, so don't say something so clearly. Tony, the King of Swords, is still the king I'm waiting for. I can't have any offensive thoughts. Paul's words made Erica's brows frivolous. I see, my uncle. It's just that Tony, the King of Swords, won't know what I said, so there's no need for my uncle to worry so much. Erica's tone was particularly casual. Listen to me, Erica. Paul's tone became serious in an instant, staring at the girl in front of him, and said, Do you know why a godslayer is a godslayer? A tyrant who can kill the gods and usurp the power of the gods in the sky. Erica asked Paul, not quite understanding the change in Paul's tone. If you know it, then you should know that not all godslayers are so talkative. Paul sighed and said to Erica, Although you are young, you have stepped into the rank of great knight at the age of 16. The highest point a magician can reach. However, becoming a god killer is not as easy as you think. I know you have that arrogant idea in your heart, but Erica, you'd better take it back. Although my uncle protected Princess Alice from the hands of the Black Prince Alec, but that was because the Black Prince Alec had no intention of fighting, otherwise, the uncle would not be able to win the Black Prince. It was at that time that I knew that mortals and godslayers what a difference. Erica pouted at Paul's advice. I see, uncle. Although what Paul said was right, Erica really couldn't hold awe in her heart when facing the Godslayer, because the power of the Godslayer was too simple. If she had the right divine tool, she might be able to kill the gods too. Don't get me wrong, it's not stupidity, it's the arrogance that comes from not seeing the real gods. In this world, it is impossible for mortal magicians to kill gods. Any mortal who can become a god-killer, firstly, has the courage to kill the gods, secondly, he is recognized by Pandora, which triggers the launch of the Pandora ritual, and thirdly, he belongs to the person with the destiny of a tyrant who can successfully kill the gods. All three are indispensable. The goddess of fate approves, then becoming a god-slayer is nothing more than a destiny that has already been delineated. However, the script in this world now has more variables like Luo Xia. Great Britain, Green Niji Council of the Sages. Princess Alice, are you sure you want to go to Fusang to see the seventh king? The old sage from the Council of Sages couldn't help but said, his eyes showed worry. In that case, your body may not be able to support it. Living. Princess Alice, she was the former speaker of the Council of Sages, but now she has taken a back seat and serves as an advisor to the Council of Sages. The princess of the magic world, who has been the chairman of the Council of Sages since the age of 16, has the title of White Priestess, and also has a strange scandal with the Black Prince Alec. In fact, since Princess Alice and Black Prince Alec are childhood sweethearts, it is understandable to have such a scandal. However, the two really have nothing to do with each other, and because of their frail health, Princess Alice has never even talked about love. This simple girl felt uneasy because of her ability to predict. That king has such terrifying power, I want to meet him no matter what, Princess Alice said, otherwise the uneasiness would become stronger. I foresee that king may become the world's the emperor. In that case, the whole world will be rekindled. In order to prevent such a future, the girl would rather sacrifice herself.